I drove field cuts through my neighborhood.
Hi, everybody. I am on earlier than usual tonight. You know, I like to switch it all up. Welcome to the Fearlessly Authentic, and we have a special guest with us tonight. I'm sure that you have heard the name. If you're around in this media, you know this guy. We got Case Study QB with us. How are you?
Salute. Hola. How are you? I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good. Hanging out, hanging in there. We're getting some crazy weather right now. Are you getting crazy weather in your area?
Yesterday was warm. I'm in New Jersey. Yesterday was nice weather. I think it was in the 70s yesterday, but today's back in the 50s, but it wasn't too bad. It wasn't
we're
to me.
In Connecticut, so we're not far from you. We're in that tri-state area.
Tri-state area. Yeah. So you're probably feeling the nice weather so it was nice yesterday, right? Where you were?
Yesterday when it got windy and crappy out. It was nice. Was it the day before it was nicer, Steve?
Okay.
Yeah, the day before. Yeah, I used to live in New Jersey actually when I was a kid. In the 90s, cool. I lived down in Claremont. So, Sea Isle, Wildwood, all that area down there. It was fun.
I once walked from Trenton to East Brunswick. It was horrible. It was the most hard because it was like late September, and me and my bud Jim got stranded in Florida because the ride we had back to Connecticut like bailed on us. So we're just like stranded in our cutoffs and sneakers and t-shirts, and it's like 40 degrees and just pouring down rain, and like literally got to ride to Trenton, like right there on the Jersey Turnpike, and like we had to walk from the one set of exits because we got kicked off the hitchhiking by the highway. So like you can't hitchhike here, you got to blah blah blah. So we're like, oh fuck. So we had to walk all the way from Trenton back to
how long did that take?
The way we had come. Well, I don't know exactly how long, but it seemed like we walked for most of the evening. Like it was far. It was like,
oh my God,
over 40 miles. I'm pretty sure.
Well, first of all, did you hitch to get to that point from Florida?
Yes, and we were doing great. We got all the way to fucking Trenton. And then we realized, well, we got dropped off here on the turnpike because we thought, we'll just go up the turnpike to 95. We'll be home. It'll be beautiful, no problem. Another couple of hours,
Yeah.
Not to be. We ended up walking through the mud puddles, and the fucking like people are just cruising by at 60 miles an hour, splashing these huge waves of just horrible New Jersey freaking water on us, rainwater and mud and filth. And we got home shortly after that. Actually, it was a beautiful end to the story because we walked to from Trenton to East Brunswick. We got to East Brunswick, and somebody gave us a ride from the road to the Salvation Army that was like right downtown. And everybody in the Salvation Army like had heard that there were two dudes walking on the highway, and they expected us. Right. So we come in the place, and they're hooking us up with like nice warm corduroy pants and sweaters and food, and just like hooked us up, gave us a ride to the Port Authority in New York, and got a bus ride from there to Hartford to make it home.
Yeah. Crazy wow. That sounds way more of an adventure than I had. Like I did do a spring break when I was in college, and we drove down from Rochester, New York, down to Jacksonville, Florida.
Sure.
And got stranded. And when I say got stranded, the people that we stayed with, one of the people went crazy. So so to come back with that person, we didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And we like called our lifeline. Me and my roommate at the time called our lifeline, which is our parents. Right. And they were able to hook us up with a one-way flight back to Rochester. But
parents are the original mutual aid.
Yes,
the original mutual aid. Yes, exactly.
Exactly. They taught us, we take care of each other because of that.
Yeah. But yours sound way more adventurous than
well, it was kind of crazy, kind of the same circumstance too. Like a couple of the people that were in the car that was supposed to drive us back were absolute fucking lunatics, and that was discovered then. See? So we're like, we can't really go with these guys. They're out of their minds,
Yeah. Wow.
It just turned into a crazy adventure. I had to be young,
I grew up. I grew up growing to Trenton, though, to New Jersey. I remember it was Brown Street, and I loved it because I went there. Like my stepdad, his parents. That's where that's where he grew up. Was right down there, and we would walk to the bakery. And we would walk to the butcher, and there was it was community. It was a beautiful place to grow up. I mean, how many kids know what it's like to walk to just a bakery, just a bakery in your town? That's where you go to get your stuff, and you go to get your roast at the butcher for your Sunday dinner, and you grow your food out in your backyard and your little, they had a beautiful brownstone. It was 3 stories. And I loved it. It was such an adventure to me to go and be in the middle of New Jersey and in Trenton, and it was so diverse, and I absolutely adored it. I don't know what it's like now. I'm kind of like I want to hold that that neighborhood to the in the 80s standard.
I would love to start a vegetable garden. That's something I told my wife, and I really want to try to have a vegetable garden, even though I have groundhogs that live underneath my deck who will probably destroy my garden, my vegetable garden. So I have to figure out if you guys have know of any suggestions to get rid of groundhogs.
Yeah, actually, I was just emailing Chris, the vegan prepper, and she's gonna.
The natural prepper.
Natural prepper.
Okay. Yeah, she has a show, and she actually does a whole homestead thing. Yeah, she's going to be coming on the show.
Teach how to grow anything and probably keep them from the groundhogs.
Okay, I gotta check that out because I would love. I don't know if I need to build some kind of greenhouse, not like glass, but even if there was some kind of kit I could get off of the internet.
Oh yeah, they have good ones on the on the Home Depots and those kind of stores, garden center places where you could have you could have a tiny one. You know what I mean? You only have 2 feet by 2 feet or something. You could do that. They make them all sizes now. So I bet that's probably the way.
I think with the so I used to have a house, and my daughter, she's 18 now, but she was 3 at the time, and we had ducks because what little kid doesn't love ducks. And her dad and I went to the local Agway, which is the little feeding grain place locally, and one day brought back home 6-pack of ducks. I mean, I don't know, we just ended up with ducks. And so we had groundhogs that lived on the property. The groundhogs figured out that they could go into the duck house, open with their little hands. They would open the little feed throw-off thing that we had in there, and they would fill their cheeks up, and they would take the food and they would run.
Wow. See? Yeah. I know that they would destroy my vegetable garden because my neighbor years ago, I've had maybe 3 neighbors since then, but my first neighbor when I moved into my house, he had a garden, right? Yeah. And the groundhogs under my deck would go over, dig underneath the fence and go into his garden. And he told me about it one time. I was like, oh shoot, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say.
Right. How do you apologize for a groundhog?
You're I'm sorry
here when I got here
for my wild groundhog that adopted me. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but I would love to grow some cucumbers, some celery, some a couple different thyme, maybe even cilantro. And because it's organic, right? If you grow it yourself, it's by default organic. And just you were on the show. Thanks for coming through Monday, where we talked about all those bad foods that's made in the US, but other countries banned it from it being
my daughter
glyphosate level through the roof.
My daughter Sky has friends that are in in the UK and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, you guys have all these things there, and he'll be like, oh, well, you guys have you guys have peanut butter, but your peanut butter isn't the same as what we have here. Our peanut butter, they don't have peanut butter at all. They don't have peanut butter in the UK, because it's because what we do with ours, it's full of sugar. So you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, I'm getting peanut butter. It's good. It's peanuts, right? It's just nuts, but it's all the stuff that's added in there.
Yeah, it's not good. Even the farm raised salmon, this farm beef, the farm raised versus wild raised salmon, and like just looking at the differences between the two is just like, ugh. The one you could just tell, like the farm raised one, it doesn't look good.
It doesn't look quite right. Yeah.
Yeah, and the wild is just so healthy. He's got that bright color to it. You know?
You ever see, I don't know, I'm into fishing videos and stuff like that too, but like when the dudes are like fishing in little brooks and streams and pulling out salmon and they're just rainbow colored and just, oh my God. Amazing.
I mean, guys, have you thought about, like, we always hear about, they say, oh, don't eat this amount of, I was on a cruise one time, they said, don't eat this amount of lobster because it has mercury in it or this, but like, why does it have mercury in it? It's not like that's not.
They never question. Yeah, they don't question why it has those.
Why? Like 100 years ago, we didn't have mercury. Now you could just eat your fish.
Yeah.
So now we got to worry about, like you just said, you could be fishing and you look at it and it looks so nice. But now you got to wonder, okay, but is there mercury in there?
Right, and not to mention all the pesticides, the glyphosate, all these things that are contaminating.
It runs right off into our water.
It runs off into the water.
It makes no sense. What FDA, government, what are we doing here? Like,
they're not caring about people, they're caring about profit over people.
Yeah,
and we've been talking about a lot on the show is having intentional communities, and like, why don't we grow things that we can eat on every sidewalk? Why aren't we growing, like, you know, like an abundance of, you know what I mean? Like, why is everything ornamental? Why are we growing grass?
Right. Everybody could.
We could be growing clovers, and clovers grow low to the ground, right? If you need a nice area to be on, it's softer. I think that clovers are beautiful, and they're actually edible. You can eat them. Dandelions are like the weed. They're actually dandelions are so healthy for you. They make a great tea. You can use it. You know, I don't know if do you know of Roar Media, Oz? You'll see Oz LaFave around a lot. He does him and his wife, they make dandelion tea, and oh my, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I've had it. I bought it in the store, but I haven't had it fresh.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get you some of theirs.
They make all their dog food and their pet food and stuff as well to save money out of things that grow. You know,
that's what I want to do, my own vegetable garden, because, you know, and then we was talking about this on the show yesterday. The food that's poisoned costs less money than the food that is not poisoned. So,
fully,
you know,
absolutely,
a regular cucumber that would have the pesticide on it and all the disgusting poisons or carcinogens on there versus organic, which is not supposed to have that, and it's more double the amount of money. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's insane.
It's really challenging to change your diet and try to only consume that if you're poor, you know, and we're fucking poor. So trying to eat properly, it's more about the manual labor of growing your own stuff and trusting in the fact that you only have to contend with the rain that comes from the sky that's been poisoned. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The rest of it is up to you. So.
And I mean, like, so
it's empowering too, you know.
And with you, if you teach, you know, if you learn how to grow a garden, you're learning at the same time you're teaching your children and generations, and you're by proxy, you're, you know, like if your neighbors hear about it and other people hear about it, like that catches on and that grows. And like it's that whole like teach a man to you know, like how to fish, you know, as opposed to just giving them the fish, you know. And then if children learn from a young age how to grow things, like, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen for generations down the road. I mean, if you think about back even when I was in school, we learned how to grow potatoes in water in a windowsill. You know what I mean? You can, and there are so many things that are so easy to grow, and that you can grow. Like if you leave celery in your refrigerator and it has moisture in it, it's going to grow. You can grow the celery in your refrigerator. It will continue to grow. There's so many.
What I would love to be involved with is like, if I was telling my parents, even though they live in New York and my sister is about to get a house, I was like, hey, why don't we like have our own little not farm co-op kind of like an exchange, right? So I would primarily grow, you know, a certain amount of cucumber. Let's say I just grow cucumber and celery, and then have my parents grow what's something else, onions and something else, and then my sister, and then we could just exchange, like when we get an abundance of it, it's Say, okay, here's your amount. You give me yours. Why that should be something that we have in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Community gardens and collective.
Community gardens. Yeah.
How many empty lots are there at just places that you could just be growing? Yeah. Fruits and vegetables and things.
Our friend Kate is doing that out. She lives in British Columbia, and they've been taking urban spaces all over the place and growing gardens.
They make seed bombs, right? So you make a seed bomb where it's like, flowers or whatever it is that, you know what I mean, will naturally grow and native to that area. And you make she's going to show us how she makes them. There's like a bunch of YouTube videos, but I think it's awesome to have somebody in your community, where you can ask them questions back and forth about it. And they make them, and like they make these seed bombs. So you can just literally throw them into empty lots and things will grow there.
Wow.
So, like,
the only thing is that
in
our tri-state area, you only have like 3-4 months to be able to grow stuff. That's the only problem. I mean, I've heard about not what is it called? Not aggregation. Is the type of I've heard about hydroponic.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that you can grow indoors like strawberries and stuff like so. That would be interesting.
You can grow everything.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. The hydroponic, there's aeroponic and hydroponic where you're using air or you're using aeroponic is like when you're using the moisture, like just like a fog. So you have like
takes less water,
an atomizer inside the water. So it's making like this fog, kind of like how those little fountains that you can buy at the Pier 1 or whatever, they make a little fog around the top of it.
Oh, like the like I put my essential oil in one.
Like an atomizer. So it atomizes the water and vaporizes it. And the roots just kind of hang in that moisture cloud that's created instead of the water or the soil. It doesn't need it. You just have all your plants hanging in these net pots with cocoa coir in it to support the weight of the plant. And it's super, super efficient. I've been growing things since I was 12 years old, mostly weed. And indoors has always treated me really well, unless you get spider mites, and then you're bumming. But I won't even
spider mites.
Yeah. They will ruin you.
Yeah. See,
now,
look at how amazing some of these people, like a tower, like an actual. You just gotta get. There are people that have figured out so many ways to do this stuff.
Nice.
Oh yeah, this one is a really cool one right here, where they have the black tote.
Yeah,
that one is really cool. The way that they did that, the PVC pipe.
And what are they growing now? I can't grow. I'm not interested in growing.
No, you can grow anything. That's the beauty of it.
Okay, nice.
Things that grow really quickly, like sprouts and things like that you can eat for salad, grow really well in these PVC containers because they're just a little tiny bit of roots and a bunch of leaf. So it does really well. As long as you have it lit well and the humidity, you control every aspect of the grow that way too. Yeah. So you can really
see where he's in like that tent type of thing.
Yeah, he's in a greenhouse.
You don't need that. You don't need that. You can manufacture that yourself with a closet space or even just framing, plastic so that you have a tent space. It's not.
Where's the sunlight coming from though?
The sunlight has to be artificial, or you have to have like skylight or something above it. But ultimately, the grow lights are super cheap now because they're LED. So for like a $50 grow light, you could grow all the food that you're going to consume in a month's time or something. You know what I mean? It pays for itself really fast.
Yeah, and you can do it on a small scale. Oh, here's one that's a smaller scale. And it's really cool because you can do it with your vegetables that you have, that you get from the store. You can use those.
Yeah, that is really cool.
You can use the ones that that you have that you get, like your carrots, your potatoes. See, like these guys, they're doing it right in their windowsill.
Wow. I'm very interested in that. I would
see there's lettuces. You could do lettuces that way.
Wow. Awesome. And that's free at a certain point.
Yeah. I mean, you can at the store, you can even buy hydroponically grown lettuce where the roots are still in like moisture and water in the container, and you can just continue to grow it and it will continue to grow.
Yeah, you can literally take it out of the container and stick it in a jar, or if you have the fancy little PVC hydroponic set, you can do You can do all of those things. It's amazing.
I think I saw scallions there. Like I would love
Yeah,
to.
look how easy this is. Like
onions are super easy. Scallions and onions and leeks and things like that, really easy to grow.
Nice.
Yeah, mushrooms.
Nice. Okay.
Mushrooms, the bottoms of mushrooms are already all these things that right here that they're showing on this video is actually, these are actually things that they bought at the store.
That's really cool.
And they'll grow right from there.
Nice.
So it's pretty amazing. I mean, like, so what's like you don't have to invest a lot in it. You know what I mean? Like you can just
that looks good.
The bottom of your lettuce right there. I mean, you want to get kids to eat, healthy foods, help them grow them.
Right.
Then
the
growth of them.
What are they doing with the roots of it?
So
are they going to replant them or something, or
they're going to put them in the water and they're going to get them to grow. So is that bok choy or is that cabbage? Oh yeah, celery.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bottom of the celery, you just cut it like that. And this is all you have to do.
It's astounding how quickly they grow.
It's so easy. And it will grow from there, right in your windowsill.
What?
And it's so cool because everything that you buy at the store, all your favorite produce that you love, right? You bring that, you buy the fucking nicest looking stuff you can find and be like, all right, I'm going to grow this one because this head of lettuce is done. And you chop off that little thing, put it in the water. Same thing with potatoes, any kind of vegetable.
And that's days. Look, 10 days and you are having roots like that in.
Yeah. And now, and then you put it into the soil like that. Is that what you do next?
You can grow it in water, or you can, if you're going to do hydroponically, you can grow it in the water that way, or you can, see, look at the little sprout. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. And that must be bok choy. Is that bok choy? So you can continue to grow things hydroponically, or you can put it in soil from there. It just depends on what your setup is, what your preference is. But I mean, it's amazing. You want to get obviously, organic or the best, the best quality of what you are going to grow, because it's already in the DNA of the plant. But it's really amazing. I mean, think about how much of this we throw away, or compost.
100%.
Hopefully people compost if they can.
Yeah, I've been trying to juice celery juice in the morning. For the past week or two, I've gotten into juicing, and that's exactly the part that I throw away. I actually throw away that part. I cut it off, throw it in the garbage. But this is something you're
throwing away your future food.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So they're using the clean water to use, not tap water, because that's another question I heard. Our tap water has all sorts of pharmaceuticals and
tap water does have all sorts of things in it that it's so hard. It's so hard because it's like we drink this water and we know if we can't grow plants in it, then how do we grow ourselves in it? You know what I mean? Like when it comes to our food, we really need to be paying attention to the water, and also what we're putting in ourselves. Steve, you're totally distracting me right now. He's over there saying hi to the dog. Steve, what do you think about the water? What is the best water to get when you're doing this? Do you think it's better to treat it? Do you think it's better to collect the rainwater if you can?
I think it's the best possible thing you can do would be probably rainwater, but then you still have to have the little test strip so you can know if it's alkaline or acidic. You know what I mean? You're trying to level it off somewhere around.
So if it's too acidic, it's not good, or if it's less acidic, it's good.
Right.
What is
Either way,
okay.
7 is right in the middle. So around 5.5 to 6, pretty much everything will thrive with that pH.
Okay. Gotcha.
And but also distilled water at the store is really a good way to have water that's going to be pH balanced really, really close to 7 on its own, so you don't have to change it. And that's a great way to start your those starts like that, with the celery and the lettuce and the whatever else, leeks and stuff that you want to grow.
And here's a guy that does it too.
Gotcha.
We could listen to the first few minutes of this guy.
Can we shout out the chat room here? Let's say hi to Popeye and Alex M and Miss Noli D. and Tangled Up in Blah. I like that. Yeah, I love that name.
What's up to the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think I got it. If I missed you, I'm sorry. I love you all.
Yes. Noli, this is Case Study QB. I'm sure that you have seen Case Study QB stuff. Everybody uses your videos. It's really amazing. All the work that you do with those videos.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Just, watch a lot of mainstream media, and I watch a lot of. I'm a political junkie, so I might as well share the wealth while I can.
I have a question about that. Like, how do you actually do all that editing and watching all those hours of those idiots? How do you not lose your mind?
How do you keep yourself so organized with all those clips and like
focus?
Geez, and not get sucked into the
just
propaganda.
Like, send me off on a a rant, and like any one of them is liable to just tweak me and make me.
Yeah, you must have like the best blood pressure resolving.
Super chill dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty chill for the most part, and I enjoy watching everybody. So there are people that can be triggered by certain things, like even on my show, Political Junkies, we have people on different sides of the left, and I'm sure there are people who have low tolerance for Jimmy Dore, for example. There's people that might watch TYT, right? So I personally watch everybody, and I have, I guess, a tolerance for listening to people, hearing their opinions. I could disagree, but I won't cancel them. Like I will still be like interested in watching. So an example like Jimmy Dore, he says he's very aggressive in the way his rhetoric when it comes to talking about people like he doesn't like the Squad or whoever, like calling them names and all that stuff. Like I could watch it and filter that part out, but still see that there's value. First of all, he's a comedian, so he can be funny, and then there's value in hearing the other side of an opinion. I'm a critical thinker, so I like to hear both sides of a debate. So, for example, today, I was watching his show today, and I found out that in Ukraine they locked up the opposition apparently to of the whoever's the main party in power, and I didn't know that. Watching anything else, I watch mainstream media, often, and I watch different shows. But I didn't know that the Ukrainian president and his party locked up the opposition. I didn't hear that anywhere else. So that's where I listen to different voices to hear the different narratives, and then I can make my own decision on what I want to decide on.
Now, like, how deep do you go? Like, if you get some kind of a gist of a narrative or something that you're fed from the MSM, do you then go find other things that may be outside of that realm? Like like if you're talking about the WEF and you go, you get the mainstream story or the WEF's mainstream story, their story, and then you go like read Whitney Webb, who breaks it down, who's involved with what. You know what I mean? Like how does that work?
Yes,
same kind of thing.
I can't watch everything because I'm only one person, so I mainly stick to the independent media that I personally watch, and then the mainstream media I usually watch is MSNBC, and I'll occasionally get things from CNN, Fox News, Fox Business, Bloomberg. Those are the mainstream channels that I can pull from. Right. And my philosophy is I clip out things that I think the progressive community, my leftist community, needs to know about. And it might be something that, a typical person might say, oh, I don't need to know about this, like a Fox News clip. But my philosophy is we should be watching or hearing how the opposition, the other side, talks about us. Absolutely. So I would usually clip, if you see a Fox News clip on my timeline, they're usually talking about Bernie Sanders. They're usually talking about progressives. They're usually talking about leftists. And a lot of times, like a narrative that I've heard is they was just lump us all in together. So like the wokeism, the left, the liberals, the progressive socialists, Marxists, like all of that is one to them. Right. While me and you would know, we would just like throw up if somebody called us a liberal. Like we would just throw up,
right. Just ideology, ideologues, right? Everybody's just like, you're this and you're that.
Oh, I've been called so many things, and it's like I don't fit into anybody's category. I don't agree with Steve 100% of the time. How does anybody expect me to agree with a mass amount of people all the time and fit some kind of ideology? I don't. I will. You know, I don't just take and say like, oh, this so and so said this, so that makes it completely factually true. Like, I don't take that. I can hold all kinds of things and then evaluate myself, you know, and look into the evidence. Like, we need to have more critical thinking, and we need to have that, and it's so important that we can hold different ideologies all at the same time, you know.
No, I think what's even more important is that we can learn to agree to disagree, right? So we can have different opinions on different things, and have vigorous debates, right? But when it comes to an initiative that we both agree with, we should be able to work together to get that initiative done. So, for example, Force the Vote, a year ago, or March for Medicare for All, or when there's different summits going on. There's a third-party summit coming up that Compton J from Revolutionary Blackout Network is organizing. Like, these are things that we should be able to come around and say, you know what, I disagree with you on such and such, but I agree with you on how do we organize a general strike. I want to be a part of that. How do we make third parties stronger or have conversations around third party politics? Okay, I want to be a part of that. So I would love one day, and I hope we get there, people who vehemently disagree with each other to continue to disagree, but say, I might not like you on this particular issue, but on this initiative, I'm willing to hold hands, lock arms, and let's move forward together.
I think it's easy to find ways that you don't agree with people on, you know, and if you're seeking for those, you can find those anywhere, but it takes a different approach. Like, if you take a different approach, I should say, and actually look for the things that you do agree upon, then that's a place to start. That's you know what I mean? You can always find, like, there's something that you agree with somebody on.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I think that's,
you know what I mean? Build from there, and then you kind of like you humanize the issue, humanize the person and you, and you know what I mean? Like, it's spoken about so abstractly so many times, like as if we're debating over a block, as opposed to it being like, this block is actually represents all these humans and how it's going to reflect on us as a society as a whole.
Matter of fact, I would think that we agree with the people that we disagree with, and we probably agree with majority of the stuff that they agree with, like 70% and more. Oh yeah, and I'm talking about the differences between like a TYT and a Revolutionary Blackout Network, or Jimmy Dore or Sam Cedar. Like, these are David Doe. I personally want to see all of us somehow try to find a way to work together. But I think we focus on like that 5% or that 10% of things that we disagree with, and blow that up, and then we're such in a disagreement and Twitter storm or Twitter fights that is like, okay, we can't even work together on the things that we do agree with, right? What you guys think?
Self-destructive at that point. Yeah, I think that idea that that's a really good idea, to try to get everybody on the same page with all the things that they do agree with, because that's how people can talk to each other. All of this, you're about this, and you're a Trumper, and you're a Democrat, and you're a blah blah blah. It's just stupid division constructs, put in place to keep us divided. And the sooner people realize that, the better. But I think ultimately, I wanted to say about the Jimmy Dore and all of those people that you just named. The problem I have is not what I agree with them about, or even what I disagree with them about. The problem is when they come off disingenuous and they're just trying to further a narrative that's handed to them from someone else, or corporate power. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the bullshit that we have to call out. Those are the things. And
your intention
I totally
matters. Intention.
Yes. It's about the intention, and it's about not being deceitful, being truthful, and being truthful, you'll come to the point where, like you just said, you probably agree more than 70% with anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
About many things. So having that in your mind, like, okay, well, I'm willing to approach the idea that everybody should be trying to work together on all of those things that they do agree on, so that they can tackle the things that they don't agree on. But they have to be honest about it. They can't be like, bad faith actors and useful idiots and stuff.
We just want people to be honest about why it is, and let's have robust debate about why we feel the way we do. If we can't do that, then we're not going to get anywhere. You know what I mean?
We just need
everybody
communication.
Willing to come to that table and say, okay, we're going to do this. This is our end goal. Let's figure out how we're going to get there together, as opposed to saying, I don't like you or your personality or you're this or that. I don't give a shit. Like, that shit doesn't matter to me. That shit's not going to matter generations down the road, whether or not we got along with so-and-so. And like, really, that's your reason why we couldn't have better things, is because you people couldn't get along with each other? Like, let's explain that to children and see how that works out. You know what I mean? Like, when the adults start acting worse than like kindergartners, it's like, all right, we're not going to get anywhere with this. We need to have
too much playground politics going on.
Yeah, we need to just say, like, all right, well, let's figure out what we do agree upon and let's work from there. But there are people that come in and that do try to poison the well, and it's hard. It's a hard thing, because it's like, I want those people to all come together with the rest of us, and I want, you know what I mean? Like, I think for the most part, most of us want the same end result.
I think
that's what I was actually I think Catalytic Century said Katie Helper much. Now I don't know if you're saying that meaning that Katie Helper is one of the people that's negative, but it's funny, I was just about to give Katie Helper credit, because she was one of the few people that during that forced to vote conversation, or the height of that, what would you call that movement that was going on a year ago?
Sure.
Yeah, that she actually put together a panel of people who had differences of opinions, people who felt like, oh, it shouldn't just be a force to vote, it should be all these other demands. And that's what we needed, that conversation, because when Jimmy Dore this was an idea that apparently DSA originated. What they just shelved it. They shelved it.
Been a Jimmy Dore thing. It was already a thing. He just pointed to the thing that was already in existence. And because he's the one who pointed to it, nobody wanted it. I don't give a I don't care. I don't care if Biden would have pointed that out. If it was the right thing, I would have been on that.
Right. And absolutely,
that's what matters. I don't like Biden.
Certainly.
And that's the thing, that we need to work in a synergy type of relationship, because you're going to have the policy wonks, right, who are not very charismatic, who are boring, but they're very knowledgeable. And I think I'm trying to think of this guy's name. Matter of fact, maybe let me not call out any names, but they usually would go on a Jimmy Dore show, and he, with his charisma, he's got over 900,000 subscribers for a reason. He's able to bring light to the things that this person knows about. So in the case that we're talking about right now, DSA had the idea, but it was in a panel, is in a manual somewhere, and he popularized it with his audience, and kind of it caught fire through that person, through him as a medium. But unfortunately, people had a problem with Jimmy. And therefore, they were like, okay, I like the idea, but because Jimmy made it popular, I'm not going to be involved with it.
I got in a pretty good debate with Joe Firestone. I walked into onto a show with Joe Firestone, not realizing, and him and I had a pretty a good debate, and he brought up the Jimmy Dore thing, and I was just kind of like, oh, come on. It's like when somebody calls me a Trumper because I don't agree with something. It's like, come on, that's such a distraction. I don't care. I like Jimmy sometimes, and sometimes I don't.
Exactly.
I don't. And I think that
I feel that way with everybody.
I will yell. Yes.
Like TYT,
like,
even
I'm like, no, I don't simp for anybody. Like, I am not just like wholeheartedly in on anybody. I will yell at the freaking screen over anybody that's on there.
I'm going to start calling it the Vanguard method, or come up with some name, because I love the Vanguard. That's one reason I love the Vanguard. They would give it to anybody. You know, they had Jimmy Dore on this show, and usually you would think, oh, I had Jimmy Dore on my show, so I'm not going to say anything bad about him. No, they would call him out still on things that they disagree with. And unfortunately, I think Jimmy is really like immature enough that he never went back on their show ever again. Yep. Right. And that's disappointing, because to me, like, I'm a grown man. If we're going to have a disagreement, let's hash it out. Let's have the disagreement, but then let's continue to work together. And it's come to, he just has enough of a history at this point that you see he comes in contact with people, befriends them, but then it's just a matter of time. Like, you can just look at your watch and just wait. Oh, just give it a year or two, and he's going to be out of contention with that person. So you got TYT, you got Jank User. They were friends for God knows how many years. Now they're like mortal enemies, right?
Yeah.
You got Graham Elwood.
That plays really well too.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have shills in the wrestling match. You know what I mean? That's
Graham Elwood did me dirty though, man. He did me dirty, like on screen. Like, he knows who I am. Graham Elwood, you know, like, I know who all these people are. Like, and Graham Elwood know who I was, and he yelled at me like on screen because I asked a question about like, it was to do with COVID and stuff like that. Just being a curious, like, I thought, like, I ask questions. I question everybody and everything, and I question myself. And he live on air, like, completely trashed me, went off on me afterwards. And what? About
what? I'm sorry. What was it?
It was about his COVID position, basically.
Oh. He was doing his show.
He was doing live shows. Yeah. He was booking live shows and urging everyone to go get vaccinated so they could come see him.
So they could go to his show, not for their health, but go get vaccinated so you can go to his show. And I called him out on that. I'm like, that's fucking wrong. That is wrong. We have the actual clip of it. Like, and so, I told him, I'm like, why do you? I just said, why do you trust them? And this is while he's doing his show, Government Secrets. Okay, why do you trust them?
Why do you trust a show called Government Secrets when they're telling you things that happened 60 years ago that you can Google in 5 seconds?
Yeah. But my point was
is that Graham Elwood are anything less than nefarious at this point.
There's people that are that you know, like, and that's where the infighting becomes to be something more, is when they're not just defending a stance on something, they're attacking a person that I don't have any power to fight back against him. And to this day, you know, like, my ferret Neville, the devil, is the one that was part of his skit, his entire show. Like, he's met us on screen before. I've met Jimmy and stuff, and Ron and everybody. Like,
there's a weird hierarchy at play there with the Jimmy Dore.
But that's a whole.
Even Ron and Jimmy, they don't seem to like work together anymore. I haven't seen them on the same right. No, so like all these different people that you would think they're like good friends. Even
30 years they were friends. Graham and Jimmy, friends for 30 years, and everything with the vaccine and COVID completely broke them because Graham was just refusing to hear anything. All I did was ask a question, and it ended everything. Like, we supported him. He knew who we were and everything. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like I wasn't just like a random like.
Why did it have to come to that? It's crazy.
You know,
it is.
Yeah.
It's like he couldn't.
That's exactly the point I'm trying to make, is that we should be able to have these disagreements. You should, Lucky, you're supposed to be able to say, hey, I disagree with you on this with the vaccines or whatever. Right. And he says, I disagree with you. And you guys could have a spirited, debate. And then, all right, we're back to normal. Or what else? Medicare for all. Let's get back to how can we get Medicare for all?
Right. Something he preempted that with how dare you question my position? And you know what I mean? He just took a position of defense, and that was it. You were not going to convince him otherwise.
He was covering the Spanish flu case. He was covering the Spanish flu on government secrets. And I asked him why he trusted the government with the vaccines. And I got shit on. Yeah. Okay.
My thing is,
there needs to be
the way I would answer that.
People. There needs to be consistency.
Yeah.
He wouldn't answer that. Just by questioning him, that was enough.
For me, I trust the government enough that I got a vaccination. I got vaccinated. For anybody else in the audience, if you don't trust the government, don't want to get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated. It's up to you. I'm more of a libertarian-minded person. That's how I actually got into politics, by being a Ron Paul fan. Before I got introduced to, I came across Tom Hartman, and I heard him debate a lot of Republicans. And when he was debating Republicans, I was like, man, this Tom Hartman guys were making a lot more sense than these Republicans. And he brought me, I'll credit him to bring me to the progressive side. But I'm still libertarian minded in the sense that I want you to do what you want to do. Lucky, if you don't trust the government, don't do what you want to do with your own body. For me, if I want to get vaccinated or whatever, I'll get it, and that should protect me from everyone else. That's how I feel about it. I definitely disagree with changing people's whole lives and the way they live to inject them with a substance that they don't know about.
That's not right at all. And basically that was our position, was like, you're telling us.
This was the very beginning of this. Like, we didn't, nobody, knew.
Yeah, it was really early on. And it was just like, okay, well, you're saying that, you can't trust the government. You can't trust big pharma because they lie to you and they kill people all the time, always have.
Telling us on the show.
So second, then, when you say that, and you say you can't trust them, and then you say, well, trust them because you need to come see me play my comedy show. You know what I mean? That's just shady and disingenuous. And the fact is that, you know what I mean? Never once were we like, well, we just don't agree with you. It's like, we don't agree with you because of this reason and this reason and this reason, and laying out facts.
Asking for like evidence or like, why do you believe that? And when you are a content creator, you should be able to back that up if you're telling people to go do something. If you're telling people to go get a medical procedure, to go to a show, that sounds like a grift to me.
This has been an awesome show, man. Thank you for coming on. Super fun.
Hey, man, I had a lot of fun.
Our politics are definitely we're different. Our politics are different. Well, but look at what we do.
And I appreciate that about you all, because
ahead of time, and
we all can't be the same.
Right.
Yeah, we all can't be the same.
No,
we
I don't want to
have. Yeah, we all have. RBN brings that revolutionary, style to the left movement. I credit, even a lot of people hate on TYT and that side of, they call it the boutique left. I don't like that term, but it's the only way to really who you're talking about. But that I look at them as being able to pull in people who are normies, right? These are people who, like my mother-in-law, who watches CNN all the time. I could easily point her towards TYT and say, hey, check them out. And they are to the left of CNN. What about the things
that they get really wrong on there?
That's where we have to have communications and discussions, right?
That's where my issue lies, is that, like, if I can't say I trust these guys, go watch their channel, go watch Combo Couch.
Well, who would I point them to?
You know what I mean? So you're sending her there, though, but you're like, well, I don't trust them on this part. They got this part wrong, but believe this part. It's a very mixed message for people.
Yeah, it gets convoluted.
How much a percentage, like TYT, I watch, I still watch them. I would say out of a regular show that there's very few I disagree with. There's the things that you do disagree with, you might say, oh, that's huge. That, but like, so for example, voting for Democrats, like voting for Hillary or something like that. Yeah, you might say, me, I've always voted third party. Since the first time I voted for John Kerry, and then after that, I never voted for a Democrat at the presidential level again. So I can understand that point.
I would love to have faith in our voting system.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to vote and know that my vote counts, and that, you know what I mean, that the effort is worth it. I want to fix that system so that we can have that.
There has to be,
but it doesn't work the way it is right now.
Systemic
it doesn't.
Like, it has systemic change in the election integrity, and pretty much every other, major institution in this country.
Oh, what was
I
that?
actually clipped a clip recently. I don't know if you want me to put it in the comments, but it's on my timeline, and they brought a liberal, a moderate, and a conservative, and they asked them a question: how do we get more people to vote in the United States? And they actually all agreed on a couple of policies, right? They said, hey, we should make it a federal holiday. They're like, oh, yeah, we agree with that. Absolutely. And we should make it, they had a couple of solutions and they all agreed to it. And this is the type of stuff the mainstream media will always have us fighting and dividing us and focusing on the things that we disagree with, when there's a ton of things that we all agree with, from the libertarians to the Green parties. We agree with anti-war, and pro-peace type of initiatives.
Anti-imperialism is huge across almost every single ideology.
So
there's only a couple of like war hawks that are just dyed in the wool. Yeah, war is great, kind of people.
That's what we have to focus on.
Julian Assange is so important, because he exposed the fact that the war crimes happened and he's locked away.
Yeah. Portraying him as a criminal disqualifies TYT to me. Like, I can't watch them because they got that fundamentally.
He told us. If he didn't tell us, then what we know.
I know Jenks
we know about Iraq
changed. And he changed his position and everything. He had it right. And then he went back and said the MSM bullshit.
And who they get paid by, they get Katzenberg money, and that I don't trust that. I don't trust.
I hear you. I'm looking at the
that doesn't
aesthetics. I'm looking at the aesthetics. Matter of fact, now that I think about it, TYT might be too aggressive for my mother-in-law, because Jank, he gets amped up. Which me, I
likes horses, guys. He likes horses.
I agree, Case, that the idea that you put forth about maybe turning a normal person who is like completely programmed by the MSM into something else. You know what I mean? That isn't so bad.
So it's more like breaking points. More like breaking points are even rising, but they're off of the hill on YouTube for now.
Yep. They're all paid by the same kind of people.
The Hill
that's
is
the
still
problem
paid
I have with
by mainstream. The Hill is still mainstream media.
Listen, Lucky, I'm sorry. What's my other Steve, right? Yeah.
Steve, yeah.
So I totally hear what you're saying. You're saying they're getting paid, and but what I'm looking at is what's the word? Aesthetic, like the style of show that they do.
Sure.
So we need
and the substance though.
So we need a place that does do that style that we different people like to digest their news and they're people in different ways. That's why mainstream media doesn't have just one person that does the news, right? Like, they have different personalities and different types of people, because different people relate to different people and they like to digest it in different ways. But we need to have places that you can send your family to, right? That likes to digest mainstream media. We need to have somewhere where they can go and they can digest it in a way that's comfortable, but they're getting truthful news. They're getting authentic news, and they're not getting news that's being pumped out and being paid, like where your dollar is directing the topics and what the news is that you're specifically getting. You know what I mean?
The oligarch doesn't have direct control over narrative. That's
so somebody at my church. I don't feel comfortable directing somebody at my church to Jimmy Dore, who's going to be cursing. Every other word is going to be cursing, right?
All right.
But a rising or a breaking point where they strategically don't curse in there, for the most part, I think Rising definitely does not curse.
They're more wholesome in what they say.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make. And yes, they're being paid by whoever it is, but when I listen to the content like Ryan Grimm, for the most part, he's not telling them, "Oh, you got to vote for Joe Manchin or something." You know what I'm saying? Something like that.
No, I
wouldn't feel comfortable with that. That's what
there has to be like a meeting place for that. Like you're saying, there has to be an entry level place for people to get off the freeway of fucking propaganda and get into 100% that can change 100%. It.
But we need to make sure that who we are bringing people towards are speaking the truth, and they're really being authentic with what they're saying, and we need to hold, and that's why we need to hold everybody accountable.
You
know what I mean, to maintain that balance of okay, like they want that level and that digestion of news in that way, and that they're comfortable getting it in that way, so we need to feed it to them in that way, but we need to make sure what they're getting is truthful. And we
can I call you LB? I like LB.
Yeah, you can call me LB.
I like LB and QB. And
yeah,
Steve,
there we go.
Oh, shit.
but LB, I wanted to say that every year since Bernie Sanders, right? Every year we're kind of learning. We're kind of getting a little bit better. We're getting a little bit better. We have a lot of failures. I had I was on Savvy Sabs was on the calling app, and
Savvy came on just a couple Sundays
really
ago. Yeah, I love Savvy.
Cool. So she was talking about like what I thought of the state of the progressive party, and I was like, the progressives are like my New York Knicks. They keep losing. They keep losing. They keep losing. Now, fortunately, my Knicks won the last 2 games, so that's interesting in itself, right? But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that we haven't had a lot of great big wins. We came close. We had Bernie twice, came very close. Yeah. But what I like to say is we're growing and we're kind of learning from those mistakes and we're evolving, right? Yeah. Since Bernie ran in 2016, what happened? AOC in the first generation of the squad got into office, got into power, but then we saw they kind of went to the wayside. So now then we had a second generation.
They're not standing up though, because people we need to hold everybody to the same account. We
have to. I agree.
We need to say, oh, well, mainstream media, like, no, they suck. So we have these other independent guys, and they're gonna we're gonna hold them to account so that they are telling the truth. And then we're gonna do the same thing, and we're gonna make it really easy for people to know exactly what they are standing for and not make excuses for any of them, because we are paying them to do this. We're paying them that after 5 years, they get paid for the rest of their lives to continue to do this. And they have health care as they deny it to us. They have a very great, they have a living wage, thriving wage, as they deny a thriving wage to the people. So we need to be as critical and hardcore on them about what they're doing and not 100%. Give them a pass. Screw the pass.
We have to be hard on them as well. But the point I was trying to make is that from the first generation to the second generation had Cori Bush, who she was on the and people call it performative, but she was able to try to do some activism on the Capitol. I'm looking forward to seeing the third generation to see if we have somebody that's just a little bit more radical. But I would like to see a lot more radical. Honestly, I like what Compton J has been saying recently.
How long do we allow a little bit of incrementalism and a little bit?
So I like, that's what I was about to say.
What's our hard stop there with incrementalism? Because it's not really getting us anything at this point.
I like what Compton J has said recently. He was on a good call-in with Breonna Joy Gray, and they were talking about them exit versus them enter. And he said, you know what? The only Democrat that I would accept and would support is a Democrat who says, I'm going to go in there to F-ish up, and to go in there and run against the Democratic Party and to call out the Democratic Party. And I'm at that point myself. So I would love to see, like, I've talked to people who are running right now as Democrats, and they said, man, these progressives, the squad, they've made it so hard for me to run. Because when I go and ask people for money, they say, oh, no, you're just going to be like the squad and you're just going to. So I'm saying, hey, if you get elected, you got to go in there and show us something different. Than the squad, than the squad generation 1, squad generation 2. We want somebody to literally go in there, champion what we need to champion. Come on, independent news shows like Lucky Burrito, Case Study QB, Revolutionary Blackout Network. Go ahead.
What would happen if we got everyone in the squad to tweet out the same thing at the same time? Case Study.
All of that stuff. Yeah.
What would happen if they called for a general strike? Just general strike this date. One tweet from AOC. Yeah. One tweet from Bernie. We are not asking for a fucking lot, and they won't do the minimum. They won't do that bare minimum for us. Yeah. So, that's where I lose my faith in even thinking that we can possibly get anywhere electorally. And you have the faith, and you're carrying that. And I really, really, really badly want it to be the case that
I'm super optimistic.
Go forward.
I'm super optimistic, Lucky. And if I could plug if I could plug the initiative that I'm working on, it's called the People's Gauntlet. Yeah, peoplesgauntlet.com. You could go, the audience, y'all could go there and check it out. And it's a nonpartisan initiative, meaning that any party, even if you're a Republican, Libertarian, you can do the People's Gauntlet. And it's basically candidates putting letting us know where they stand on issues that progressives care about, right? And people have said, hey, well, they can go in there and say anything. That's true. But to be honest with you, right now, we're not on that level of a Justice Democrat. So, where everybody's trying to court their endorsement. We're kind of growing. I really hold dear the people who have done the People's Gauntlet. So when you go there, you see 4 people who have completed all 5 gauntlets. I have Steve Holden. He's going to be soon added because he's completed all the gauntlets. I just got to add him. And these are people who heard about the initiative and they believed in it enough to participate. Like, they could have blown me off. Trust me, I've talked to other Democrats. I'm not going to call anyone's names, but people who are running right now that they're like, oh, yeah, we'll do it. And then they don't do it. And
actions speak louder than words. We need their actions.
Yeah.
My
thing is,
we need them doing the mutual aid. We need them in the streets. We need them firing up the people and doing what we need you to be active. Bernie was doing. We need to fuck that. Fuck Bernie, man. We don't need one fucking person. We need everybody. Everybody, nobody. I don't look at anybody as in being like a higher regard than me. You know what I mean? Like, people were like, I can't believe you had Savvy Sabs on, blah, blah, blah. You had, like all these different people on. But to me, they're just people. They're just people in this game, just like I am. We're all humans. We're all people in this, and we got to work together. So I don't care if somebody has 10,000 subscribers or if they have 0 subscribers. If it's not about that for me, it's about the fact that we all want the same thing and we all need the same action. Imagine if we did tweet storms. Imagine if we all mass pushed for the, I don't have faith in the squad, but would I join a tweet storm to try to get them to freaking tweet something out? Hell yeah, I would. There are little actions like that we all can do. We have to organize to do it, though.
LB, if they want our donation money, if they want us to volunteer for them, the least you can do is tell me where you stand on the issues, and the least you can do is go on the shows that I watch and answer the tough questions. I'm not going to give candidates respect if they don't go on not the friendly channels. I'm talking about channels that's going to ask them tough questions, because those are the questions that I want to know.
Yeah. I don't want to know what their favorite fucking color is.
Not to put,
like, I don't care.
Not to put down the panel that was on the other day with that caught so much shit with Marianne Williamson and all those people.
Oh, the C's, the house. I thought we had the house, by the way, but I don't know.
All the pretentiousness, like, in one panel, it was incredible. And the fact is that those people are completely not in touch with what the kind of activism needs to be happening. You know what I mean? And they're not going to tell you the things or where they stand on, like, you know what I mean? These people came on and it was a fundraiser, and cool. People need money, that if they're not getting corporate money, they need money to compete. I understand that, but I don't know, man. There has to be like some kind of better vetting, some sort of thing that you have to complete these things. Like you were saying, like that gauntlet thing. You have to do something like that to show us exactly where you stand on these topics, and
that's the whole idea.
And be on the shows. Yeah,
that's the whole idea. And I would love my media. Once we get to a certain level, I want to, maybe I'm trying to think how to strategize and do it. Maybe
make sure you put that link in there for us so we can put it out there.
Yeah, peoplesgauntlet.com. I was thinking of having maybe media partners that's part of the peoplesgauntlet.com. And what that means is, if you want to go on their show, then you have to do the People's Gauntlet and complete all 5 gauntlets before you can even go on somebody's show.
That's awesome. Right? Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Unites people, not even just like, it's not even about your ideology. It's like, no, if you haven't done that stuff.
Yeah. So now if you want to come to my audience and potentially get donations and potentially get volunteers, no, we want you to go do the People's Gauntlet.
What are you doing for us? Exactly.
What are you doing for us? All right.
Bring faith back to it, right? You're bringing faith back to that party. And I know you have to run. Oh my gosh.
Well, not that party, but like I said, it's nonpartisan. So it could be you, and you'll see there's a candidates page And so far, I have 3 Democrats. Sass was an independent that I think he became a Democrat once they drew the lines, but then he dropped out. But there's a place for Movement for People's Party, but then they have their own issues now. But there's a place for Green Party,
a whole mess.
Libertarian, yeah. So anybody's a nonpartisan. You know, like I said, I haven't voted for a Democrat at the presidential level since John Kerry. So I didn't vote for Obama. I didn't vote for
my last
anybody.
was Obama. I voted for him once, and after that, it was just no.
Now I saw the first time he ran as a senator, he voted for the to give telecom immunity to the telecom companies, and that's when I'm like, this guy's a constitutional law professor. He should know better than to vote for this.
He does know better.
Barry knows better.
He does.
That's when he lost my vote.
It was us that didn't know better.
Yeah, it was
right.
That's when he lost my vote.
Better. I voted for him twice, and you know, I feel a fool. I wanted to point out this comment. Ozwhistle said, "To be kind, TYT actually helped me wean off of MSM. I followed Jimmy as he went deeper in Convo and SND and places like that. Slow News Day, shout out, awesome."
Yeah, I mean, they were part of our evolution too.
There has
you
to
know,
be an entry. There has to be an entry point for.
I don't want people stuck there though, because they're not. They're like I said, like if you can't send somebody to a news source and say I trust them, you don't have to filter it out. You know what I mean? You shouldn't have to filter your news. You should know that the journalists are telling you the truth, and you know, like. I know it's never. I know it hasn't been that way. But
before I leave, I want to ask, like, how can we get more normies to independent media? So, like I said, I'm not even trying to say not to have them to get wean off go to TYT, because, like that person just said, he went to TYT and then he evolved from there. So, how do we, as the independent media, because that's the friction right now. In 2016. MSM messed up Bernie. In 2020, MSM messed up Bernie again, gave Biden all that free publicity. Like the goal for the independent media is to get more people to watch us.
We just found I have Elle Latham that comes on and does Ladies Sunday with me, and she comes in and does shows a lot, and she dropped us this documentary. I'll have to send it to you. Was it on Spin? I think it was on YouTube on Spin, and it's like during the Clinton campaign, and they blatantly outright they show you behind the scenes what's happening, and the media spin it. I was like,
I saw it. What's the name of it? Cause I saw that documentary back in 2008, and I've been thinking about it a lot, and I couldn't remember the name. I want to watch it.
It's called Spin. It's on the channel's name is Spin. And she showed it to us, and I was like, "Oh my god!" It's insane because it's been happening right in front of us all this time, and
I think that's it. I think it's called Spin. I remember watching it, and they had a progressive that ran against Bill Clinton and others in that primary.
They wouldn't,
and they didn't give him any makeup. He was the only person, right? That's the same one, right?
Yes, we were just watching this. We were watching a clip of that. Just
he had to go to like the corner store and pick up his own powder and stuff like that.
Yes, dude,
they would not let him have debate time at all, even though he met all the criteria. Just like this,
See, so this is the type of stuff we need to be educating the public to say, hey, there's a reason why they let only certain people have this amount of time, and then they let this amount of people have like 2 minutes. Like Marianne Williamson, last time she had like 2 minutes in a debate, while Biden, half dead, he had like 10 minutes.
Oh my God.
He gets an extra 8 minutes just because he can't answer any faster than that.
Are we just like not the most pathetic country right now?
It's just depressing. We just talked about how we poison our own people with the organic versus the regular pesticide full of fruits. You think you're getting a healthy food, but they got pesticide. We just in so many ways, man. But we're going to get. I'm optimistic. I'm an eternal optimist. And my thing is, every cycle we're going to fail, but we're going to find out what went wrong, and then we're going to fix it for the next cycle. But we need to be faster, because the only thing that I'm pessimistic about is the planet. Like the planet, any day now, this thing, the methane in the polar caps is going to
the icebergs are flipping. man. They're flipping
and
over.
it's going to be a wrap any moment now. So
we have the most brilliant people. Like, we have brilliant people. We can get to outer space, right? But we can't get together and do this. We can do this.
We can do this.
We can do this.
I do. LB and Steve, I have faith. We can do it. And I appreciate y'all having me on. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Case. It was great talking to you, man.
This was a good start. We're going to have more conversation. I just know
Let's do this some more.
All right.
It was good to see you. I'll send you that. I'll DM you that link too to that that documentary.
I looked it up. I found it.
Oh, you did. You did. Good.
Yeah. So I got to do something with this. I don't know if I'm going to maybe clip some stuff. I might clip some stuff and put it on Case Study QB.
Hey, if you do, stuff. I'll definitely use that. And I gotta get you in touch with Elle Latham that comes on. She's the researcher, and she will just pull stuff out of it. Nowhere. You're like,
she's just a wealth of knowledge.
She's like, here, this clip at this time, and I'm like, how did you pull that out? Where did you pull that from? Like, yeah, you guys got to do some work together.
Yeah, I think
sounds good. Sounds good.
Deadly.
All right, we'll feed those kids.
Yeah, go feed them kids.
Touch.
And
yes, please. And you got me on DM and all that good stuff. So much love to y'all. Much success. I need LB and Steve to have 1 million subscribers so that we could grow the independent media. I need RBN to have 1 million subscribers.
Yes.
I want the Green Party to have 1 million members. I want Socialist Alternatives, DSA, everybody socialist.
Let's take this back. Let's take back what's been co-opted. If they can do it, so can we. We just got to turn around what they did to us and turn
positivity
it around on them.
will rule the day. Thanks so much, Case, man.
Much love to y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was awesome. Oh, sorry guys, we only had a short time with case studies, so I didn't get to all the comments in the chat, but I will, and we'll be having more conversations with that was really awesome. We didn't talk politics beforehand in any way, so what you saw was organic conversation, and we're definitely not on the exact same parallel side of things, like I don't digest the same shows that Case does, but you see how we were able to like come together and find so much common ground. And like if we can work together, and all of us, and we can hold people accountable, and we can decide that they might have co-opted it, we're going to co-opt it back, and we're going to take our shit back, and we're going to figure this out. And the way we're going to do that is by moving forward. Then I think that we can do this. It doesn't mean that I'm like all for electoral politics. That is something that I struggle having any faith in until we would get some, elections that are, that I know it's worth my effort. It's like how many times can you keep doing the same thing and expect that this time it's going to be different? Like in 2016, I had faith in the whole Bernie thing. Then this last year, and then I felt completely disappointed, and God, I was heartbroken. And I was heartbroken in more than one way, not just because I was like, it wasn't Bernie, like it wasn't him. It was what we could have as a people. It wasn't about him singularly as the one person. It was the group of people that came together, that worked together. It could replace Bernie with whoever it is. It was the fact that he gathered the people, he got the people together, and made people realize that we have the power to have this movement and to move forward. But we see what happened. I had faith again. He fooled me the second time too. And I really wanted to believe that we were going to be able to do it. That we were going to be able to move forward, and that we were going to be able to get him in there. And then, it's so eye-opening to be able to look back now and go, oh my gosh, like not only did that not happen, I gave money to a politician I gave money to a politician. I don't give money to politicians. You know, when you're poor and they're asking you for $12 and you're like, all right, let me check my bank account and see if I have enough to send $12 because I have a little, I have just enough that I can send that in and have a little bit of faith and believe that if I sacrifice this $12 right now, which $12 might not have seemed like a lot to a lot of people, but when you're checking your bank account and going, all right, well, I can kind of like scrape on this and, like do this because I have faith that I can have a better future if I help out. Right? That's what he did. And he crushed that. I can't get that money back. I can't get that hope back. I can't get the wasted effort and energy that I put towards, like believing that was going to be something that could happen. I can't get any of that back. I don't want more people to go through that. I had faith that we finally might have some future. I say a lot that my daughter, she's 18. I remember when, the Iraq war happened and she was little. And I remember going and looking at her dad and going, we're going to war. We're going to war. And Steve, what are you doing? And feeling that destitute of oh my gosh. And then looking back on it, it's like, man, we that long. You get tied up as being a single mom and just doing the best you can to survive and be able to even, just meet your basic needs. Have any of these people that have screwed us over, have any of them had to check their bank account to see if they had $12 that they could scrounge to give to a political campaign in hopes that there might be a way to have a better future? I doubt it.
That's cool.
So I'm going to go back and see you guys' comments and everything. Sorry, I'm way far behind on this. Let me see where you guys are. I'm going to come up a little bit closer to where we were before. I can see what you guys are thinking about all this. We have Kinky. Hi, Kinky. And yes, I made you a mod. I think I did, right? Did I make you a mod? Yes. I mod everybody as long as I know that they're an actual person. I do that because I want you to be able to say what you want to say. I want you to be able to share links and things like that. I ask people we don't censor here. And we just ask people to be respectful. I mean, if somebody comes in and then somebody is saying some nasty, inappropriate, far out there shit, then I will, take it away, racist, nasty, shit like that. Otherwise, if you don't agree, that's perfectly fine. That's what we are here for. We're here to have that conversation that the people avoid. So I'm glad you're here. Cadillac Centaur said, I can't stand TYT. Yeah. I don't watch TYT. And I will tell you that I was, I knew going in to case study coming on that we did not agree ideology wise. We didn't follow all the exact same channels. And I was like, all right, this will be interesting. and we didn't have a conversation beforehand, like, okay, we will or we won't discuss. No, it was like, yeah, oh, the show, yeah, here's your link, come join. Hey, how are you? And that's how I do it. And I feel like that's important for you guys to see that, like, we're not just telling you to go out and talk to people you don't know or the people of different backgrounds or ideologies. We're doing it ourselves too. And it's almost like I don't do scripted, like sometimes we will cover certain topics and we'll have certain things that we want to cover, but I feel like it's really important to have that conversation organically too, and to see how things come out. Kinky said, first time watched TYT May 2015. Last time watched TYT May 2015. Good job. Calax Centaur. They only insinuate with no true solutions or basic demands that everyone should get fulfilled no matter what. Yes. And yeah, they are not anti-war. Yeah. And they are not. They are all about the imperialism. And that's what I find a hard thing when it comes to, saying, let's work across, let's work across everybody's ideologies. If you think about it, I think about it as in Steve has a different ideology than me. He has a different background than me. Like his ideals are not mirror image to mine. We don't share like one brain, and we have different life experiences. And so if I can't expect that I'm going to agree with my partner 100% of the time, I can't expect anybody else to agree with me like that either. And I wouldn't want that. I don't want everybody to be robotic, to be the same, to be, I want the color and the, I'm an artist. I want the color, the texture. I want everything. And I want, I want to have the real conversations that are going to get us somewhere. And I feel like this is a really good starting point. I really do. Breaking points indeed with a whispered offer to Joe Rogan. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, when Cenk Huger tried to get Rogan to go up against him for a fight. Oh my gosh. Like what? Oh my god. I have a feeling that I could take out freaking Cenk. And I'm only 5'3". I'm short, I'm short and little. I'd have to have maybe a step stool, a running start, but I feel like if I needed to, I could. Not that I'm pro violence. Kinky said breaking points. I can't even make it through half their vids anymore. State Department must have handed them a couple million to tone it down. Yeah. And I win, like I have views that a lot of people find they have a hard time digesting what I say when I say that I don't support any mainstream media. And who pays you matters. Like, so TYT, they are really a mainstream media source. They are on TV. Like, they have a channel on, like, if you have one of those smart TVs, like they have like a channel on one of those. They might not be on your, your mainstream cable. I don't know, because I don't have cable anymore. But yeah, I believe that Breaking Points is right there with them. I believe that the hill is right there with them. And I think that, your integrity and who pays you, it matters. I'm not a person that, like, I wouldn't be able to do that. I couldn't go and work at any kind of, mainstream outlet. Not only because I just don't have, like, I am not polished like them. I'm not fancy. I am who I am. Besides that, even if I was polished and fancy, I could go on mainstream media and not drop an F-bomb. I couldn't do it because that would tear me apart personally, knowing where that money comes from. That would be, I know. I probably sound so counterproductive being like, yeah, I'm poor and I wouldn't do that, but I can't. I couldn't do it. I would rather be poor and happy. Kinky said, I figured out Jank was a Republican when he ranted in front of the camera about the $1 million homes he hoped to have stretching across America. And oh my God, he was salivating. Yeah. You know what I want? I want an intentional community with family where we're growing our own food, where we are raising children in an environment of love, and where who your child is with. If you're working outside of the community, where your child is with, the teachers, the people, where your food comes from, living that intentional lifestyle. And man, I would love to live in a freaking school bus. Okay. Like, I'm a weirdo, I guess. I don't want $1 million home. If I had like a huge home, I would just, it would end up being filled up with a bunch of all y'all. Let me see what else is happening. What did you think, Steve? What did you think about? Did you enjoy having the conversation?
With Case, I thought it was awesome. I had a great time. Enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I would encourage everyone who is new or whatever to subscribe to Lucky Burrito, Fearlessly Authentic Podcast, and Steve Cutler Live, because that's me. And if you like music, well, if you like weird old beardo guys that play music for fun and magic spells, and
Steve has a show
stuff. That's what I do.
The Leave It to Stever, where he does music streams. What do we need, like a little clip thing to, like, so I can, like, show what you do? What is this one?
Yeah, I will make you a hodgepodge montage.
A little thing.
You need a little montage. Barbara Bartleson, nice to see you. Julie Love. Oz.
And just for fun,
Mr. Whistles.
Used to think the world was flat. Really threw my hat into the crowd. I felt I had used up my quota of yearning. Used to looking on the children at night.
So let's see.
Well, that's what I do. I make those sounds.
Yeah, Steve does the live streams, the live music streams, and I sit and you'll hear me say funny things. Sometimes not on purpose, sometimes on purpose, and you'll hear me laugh a lot in the background. Who was it that Jesse Jet likes to call it the peanut gallery laughing or something. That's not even a good term to use, peanut gallery. It's a really bad term.
Damn it, Jesse Jet.
So what do you guys think about how do we get people off of the mainstream media into independent media? And where would you, you know what I mean? Like if you know somebody that's over there digesting it in that way, is there somebody that does a show that you trust that you would send your family to?
I would send anyone to Ryan Christian or Whitney Left.
Well, you could send anybody to people that you prefer personality wise, but what I'm saying is your like my family is not necessarily going to go over and say that they want to digest the same information the same way. The style of the person, the way they deliver the news, the way they deliver the information, all of that, it all, you know, it all varies.
My point was I would send people to Ryan Christian and Whitney Webb because them and a few other people as well that pay such close attention to the details and providing resources and, you know, receipts for the things that they're saying. I have faith in them that even if they get something wrong, they will correct it in the next time that you watch them. And they're just really, you know what I mean? The integrity factor is off the charts with those guys. They fucking crush it. Same thing with Slow News Day. A bunch of different content creators really have followed that standard of providing factual resources and being accountable for what they're saying. You know what I mean? I think that's like, you know, fundamentally important. You have to have that. Otherwise, why are you going to say, hey, you know, go watch TNT? Just don't pay attention to what Cenk is saying about this topic or that topic. You know what I mean? Like, fuck all that. I want them to be able to come off this, you know, like use the metaphor again. It's like a giant super highway of propaganda we've been spoon fed since birth, right? And to wean off of that and get on to something else and decide for yourself using critical thinking skills what you believe and what you don't believe, instead of just relying on the newsman to tell you what to believe. You know what I mean? That takes it's tricky. It's tricky because some people who are those entry level people and that possess the qualities that someone coming off the mainstream nipple, as it were, will be open to. You know what I mean? So it's really hard because when I'm saying go watch TLAV and Unlimited Hangout, but that their information is so dense with resources and receipts and, you know, articulation that's a lot for some people. Some people are just like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? I can't even follow what they're saying. You know what I mean? There's so many facts, so many things to remember, so many, you know, cited resources to verify and check. So there has to be like a happy medium. That's what I was trying to say earlier when Case was on the show. Like, if there's a place where everybody can access at least the fundamental amount of integrity and truth, I think Hardlands Media is providing that right now, like in a big way. And there has to be others like that, where it's not
shout
just
out to Kit Cabello, who's going to be on here on Thursday.
Shout out Kit Cabello for real. And I think that, you know, it can't be overstated that there needs to be many more of these kinds of channels for all the people who are just like, you know, I can't watch MSM anymore. I can't watch Fox News. I can't watch this. I can't watch that on the mainstream. NPR is lying to you. Amy Goodman is lying to you. I don't care how good a work she did years ago. That shit's over. She's on the payroll. You know what I mean? And I know people that are my age that have been listening as long as I have to her and to that, you know, that outlet, going, what the fuck are they talking about right now? These guys are suddenly NPR turned into war hawks. I thought they shit on Republicans for that. That was their job. It's just, there has to be that common ground for people to be able to exit from the harshness of the mainstream propaganda and Hollywood spin and TV late night fucking anchor spin, all of that shit that you're subjected to if you actually watch TV on any level, or still think that movies are just innocuous stories about things. You know what I mean? No, it's way more nefarious than that. And you have to be able to like separate yourself from the fear porn bubble to be able to recognize that you're not in the fear porn bubble anymore. You know? Yeah, there, you know, that's, I don't know why I just had to go off so much about that, but I did.
So it just seems like different people like different personalities and different levels of it. I mean, maybe we need to look at why somebody tuned in to Rachel Maddow. What was it about that? Was it her? Was it the style of how, like, because all the different shows are laid out in different ways. She's a very visual person on the screen, right? Like, she shows the things. It's highlighted. It's very simple. It's laid out.
Right.
I think that has something to do with it too. So we need to, we need to look at why people, like, maybe we need to start asking why, who is it that you watch on mainstream? You know what I mean? Like, why do you prefer that person?
Yeah. What is it that appeals to you? How do we make this more accessible to you and give you actual truth? So, like Charlie Brown said, you remember when we were talking about, when we discussed about the nervous system in a state of survival / protection, the brain isn't able to take new information in well. And I totally get that. That's why I say there has to be like some kind of accessibility, like intentionally simplified.
Like my mom and stepdad, I would not send them to me to get their information, right? I have to, if I'm going to tell them something, I have to frame it in a way that they are going to digest it and not tune me out. Right? Like, there's family, I don't talk to a lot of my family about like politics because how I grew up and who I am is very different from how they digest their daily lives, the lifestyle that they live. We live very, very different lives. So, I'm thinking about this in that way. Like, maybe what we need to do is start asking, why do you watch the person that you watch? What is it that's appealing to you? And figure out a way to have that where they can also have that and get the truth. Like, we need to make the solution available to that, because if you try, it's like Charlie Brown was saying, like, so like, trying to throw somebody in that's,
not ready
into a huge pot of boiling water, they're gonna jump out.
They're gonna object.
But you warm that water up slowly.
You slide them in there when it's nice and cool, and they'll be down. The idea that Jilly just said.
I'm power behind on the chat, so I'm catching up. Sorry, guys.
She said, Oz whistles. Those supporting Ukraine do not know geopolitical history or the Azov Nazi aspects, and I agree with that to a point, Jilly. But I think there are factions.
Do you see the question?
In America, in the United States, where there are all these weapon industries and tech industries and things that have to do with fighting and war. There are whole communities built on the fact that it doesn't really matter what the fuck the war is for. Nobody really gives a fuck about what the background is. These are things that they want to happen because their job at Raytheon depends on it. Or the Dunkin' Donuts down the street is depending on Raytheon having 5,000 employees. You know what I mean? Like, it's all contingent upon that fucking war and how much they don't really give a fuck to know the atrocities of it. So I think it has to be put in everybody's face, whether they like it or not. These are the things that are happening, and you can choose to just be okay with it because you have a job that benefits from it, or you can be real and see the inherent evil of imperialism and how the Western world is just fucking, playing games with everybody. We were watching a thing yesterday about the price of fuel in Russia. It was 45 cents a liter. It was 45 cents a liter last week during the invasion, right? So they're in Russia and the gas is fucking $2 and change cheaper than it is here. Okay. So you're telling me, oh yeah, Russia bad, Russia bad, Russia bad, Russia bad, 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 China, 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 Iran, Iran, Iran. You know what I mean? It's just this narrative bullshit, and it never fucking ends. It's just like you ask the people in this world of like people being able to live stream wherever they are, has really, you know, conflated all the things that they base their fucking narratives on. They're easily undone and exposed. And I think the point is that I was trying to get to in a roundabout way was the fact that even in places where it's war is very contingent upon having a happy community and everybody being successful, even within there still has to be outlets that are accessible for people to get real information about what's happening. So then they can decide if they can live with their fucking the guilt of being a party to this bullshit. You know what I mean? And more people need that. Yeah, income might be low, like $2 an hour, but these people that we watch, they're just the husband and wife couple with a little baby. You know what I mean? And they're like, we're not fucking rich. You know what I mean? They have a decent car. They're driving all around. They're filming it. You know, they have iPhones. And so even if they're making $2 an hour, it's the equivalent of fucking, you know, $15, $20 an hour here. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all skewed. People's perspective of what's happening there is way off.
So I wanted to bring this up. See, now this is a really good thing to bring up, Barbara. I draw the line at toxic Nazis. That's just too far. All right. Well, here's my opinion on when it comes to people who are racist and all of that. You put babies together in a room, and those babies are not automatically racist and hateful to each other. They're not going to attack each other based upon the color of their skin. They don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's a learned.
Hang on. Racism is a learned thing. It is taught. And until we address it and we start like actually saying like, well, why do you feel that way? And question it. Like, why is it that you think that, you know, this race or that, you know what I mean? This makes you better than like, can we have a larger conversation about this? Now, Steve has seen me do this firsthand to people. Somebody, you know, people will say something that is racist, and people that I've known and people that I like, I didn't know, and I will challenge every single one of them on that.
Kinky.
Right.
I'm sorry. Kinky said before this war started, wasn't Moscow named the most livable planet on Earth? He meant city, but that was funny.
Probably. But my point is that it's taught, and until we challenge that teaching and try to understand why they feel that way, like why it's the same thing as why do you watch mainstream media? We can go there to the city, it's they lie to you, blah blah blah. But until we start asking the questions and being curious, why do you trust them? Why do you digest them? Why is it that's where you tune in for your saying, why do you believe that? Questioning their belief system. Because if racism is taught, if being a Nazi is taught, that doesn't mean that I think we're going to be able to get to everybody and you know, like change everybody's mind. But if we just avoid it, we're not going to get anywhere. It's going to grow.
No,
it's going to keep growing. Yeah. It's going to thrive. But you know, if we address it and say, even if we don't like you don't have to put like, you know, a life's work into it. But if you plant seeds and say, well, you know, do you realize that if we were all the same, we would have, you know, even more health issues? That like, I like having diversity. Why are you, you know what I mean? Just breaking down, like, because to me, it just doesn't make any sense. It's not logical, like to be racist or be like, that doesn't make sense to me. So for me, my own curiosity comes in, and then I say, well, I don't agree with you, but why is it that you feel that way? Why is it that you feel this way? Because when you start asking people, a lot of times when it comes to those things, they don't have a fucking answer. They don't fucking know. They don't know why they feel that racist way or that this or that. Because I was it comes down to a lot of times because that's what the people around them are accept. That's the people around them believe. But why do you believe that? And just questioning that and questioning, people and questioning ourselves too. Like, why do we feel the way that we feel about things? That's how we start to change things. And even if you don't get the answers to those questions, you still plant a seed. And I've challenged people straight up right in front of me, like saying something. And I'm like, all right, well, let's have a conversation about this. Like, and I don't get all quiet and like pretend like, oh, we gotta have this hush hush. No. And they get uncomfortable. They get uncomfortable expressing their racism out loud and proud in that way most of the time. So then I say to them, well, if what you're saying is right and you have no qualms in what you're saying and what you believe, then why isn't it a loud and proud thing? Like, why do you feel like if I believe something wholeheartedly, I can stand in the middle of a freaking room and scream it and know it and be able to tell you why. If I believe that thing, if I believe that ideology.
And you could be completely wrong too. You could be completely wrong and still do that. I was watching a thing earlier today about a kid who was in a wheelchair, who was like a skinhead, and he was like a little white supremacist, little gangster douchebag running around, got fucking into an accident, being chased by police, and crashed into a car with another passenger in the other car and hurt the other person, like shatter their shoulder, and one of their fingers had to be amputated and all that stuff. So the kid giving the interview, you can tell that it humbled him and he changed. But at the same time, he's like, well, and people don't seem to understand that, skinheads are just, it's not about racism on its face. It's about, wanting the best for your family and for your race. And like, he's completely almost there. He almost understands the nature of the racism and the programming that he's received, but he doesn't fully grasp it. But so it's like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. He's a better person than he was, and he values human life much more than he did before he got into that accident and got in that chair. But besides that, his ideology is just fucking fucked. You know what I mean? Like he was really articulate and well spoken. I was like pulling for him, like, all right, well, this kid seems like he's getting back on his thing. He's still kind of. This guy runs around the
I pulled it up for you.
The streets of LA and other cities talking to houseless people, and he just happened to have that kid. And I started watching. I was fascinated because it seemed like he was like really about showing compassion to his fellow man, even though he recognized the fact that he was not that person before that accident happened, and he was not a good person. He didn't care about the safety or value other people's lives. And it's just, even if you just back it up a little bit, it's probably, I don't know if they'll fucking ding you for it, but it's really really interesting.
I can bring it into the beginning of this and show some context to what you're talking about.
Sure.
I think that his channel is very interesting. This doesn't necessarily represent our views, but this is a different channel that he interviews people. So, all right, I'm going to pause us then, or mute us. I mean, as long as that.
All right, Donnie.
Yes, sir.
Donnie, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
I'm originally from the Inland Empire of California.
Like San Bernardino?
San Bernardino County, yes, sir. Yep. Ontario.
And tell me about your family growing up. You had both your parents?
My parents were never there. My mom was a drug addict. My dad was a drug addict, and he was always in prison all my life. And my mom was neglectful, to say the least. Always not being the mother that I needed, really.
How would you describe your childhood in general?
A lot of lonely times. A lot of feeling the need for, that parental love that a child needs, and I just longing for it. It turned me to the streets, and it led to, criming, drug addiction, pretty much following right in my father's footsteps, and didn't even really know it.
Did you join a gang?
I did. I became an Ontario skinhead when I was about 17, and it didn't take long before that led me to prison. Only because my self-destructive ways were, it was a thing like surrounded by just hatred for, people you don't know and really you just don't understand. And when you're white and weak in the area I come from, you get preyed upon by other races. And I'm not saying that they're bad. It's just we needed camaraderie. And I guess that's what I was really, really looking for. And that's what I found in San Bernardino County with my comrades. I regret a lot of life choices, like prison. It led me to a police chase in 2010. I led police on a pursuit, and it ended in Ontario with me crashing into a civilian car. And it left me in critical condition, and I hurt the people that I hit really bad. And I was sentenced to 8 years and 4 months in prison for this. And in turn, though, I suffered greatly. I broke my kneecaps, I lacerated my liver, smashed my gallbladder, a number of very horrible injuries. And,
Are you in a wheelchair because of that?
Yes.
Permanently?
Well, I mean, I should have gotten better care, but when you're in the prison system, medical is kind of neglected also. You don't get the proper care that you need to get. So my bones kind of set, and a surgeon told me that they would have to re-break my ankle and set it again just to even attempt to fix the damage that I did, and with my drug addiction on top of that, needless to say, I haven't been handling, my business like I should have. What
is your drug?
My drug of choice is fentanyl to this day. But before that, I struggled with heroin for 15 years. And before that, from 13, I tried crystal meth, ultimately led to heroin at 22, all the way through my 20s to 33 now. And currently it's fentanyl that I'm struggling with today.
Wow. And what happened to the people that you hit in that accident?
They suffered some serious injuries, broke their shoulder because I T-boned the car, broke their shoulder, and 3 fingers were broken, one so severely that it had to be surgically taken off. And, I felt horrible about that. I never ever wanted to hurt a civilian. I wasn't really trying to hurt anybody, but due to my poor choices and just childlike behavior, I hurt an innocent person really bad, and I regret it to this day. I was in critical condition, flatlining on the table, but all in all, I look at it like these people were probably just on their way to the grocery store, and here I come ruining their day with cops behind me and in a stolen car. It was a very bad scene, and it's kind of humbled me to this day.
More than their day.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
More than just their day was ruined, I think.
Yeah, of course. I ruined a lot more than their day. Absolutely. I ruined a good portion of their, of their life, like that they should have been relaxing in. And, I just bombarded them with my, felonious activities.
You sound like you feel remorse over it all. I mean, did prison give you time to do that?
Absolutely. I had once I got put in the chair like this, that was my time to reflect, and that was my real prison.
What was the chair more powerful to?
Yes.
Than the prison time?
Yes. Wow. Yes. Being in the chair today has actually made me a better person today. I can honestly say I'm humbled. I'm willing to engage with, people of other races now, to hear their stories, just get to know someone. Whereas I didn't give anybody the chance before. I can honestly say I probably consider myself a bad person before this accident. it kind of opened my eyes in a lot of ways.
Yeah, your demeanor seems very compassionate and understanding right now. I wonder, were you like this before the accident, before the prison time?
No. I I didn't have, I mean, I know it's going to sound bad, but I mean, I guess maybe I didn't have any respect for human life. I had no regard for another person's safety due to my actions. And when that happened, I woke up in the hospital and oh my God, I couldn't even explain to you how that felt. It felt like being hit by a train, and I couldn't roll over under my own power. The nurses had to come roll me over. My legs were broken so severely. I didn't even know if I was paralyzed yet. And then all in all, I'm thinking, oh my God, did I kill this person that I hit? Because when you're incarcerated like that, when they put you under a false name for security reasons. And so that means that you have no contact with, like, they weren't telling me nothing. I wasn't allowed to read the paper. I wasn't allowed to read nothing. So I was left there wondering if I even killed the person that I hit, wondering if I even had a chance at seeing the light of day again. And really, ultimately, not even being worried. I mean, of course I was worried about my freedom, but it bothered me that I didn't understand why I was so concerned about if I had done that to somebody I didn't even know at the time, but quickly I realized, like, dude, I never filtered in that I was going to hurt somebody, or that I was, okay, well, let me put that different. I did take into consideration that I could possibly crash into somebody. But the sad thing is, I had no respect for my life either at the time. I never considered living through the crash. Not that I was like suicidal or anything. I just expected that was it, And when it wasn't, I was left with a rude awakening after I woke up out of my coma after 2 weeks. I woke up, started coming out of my delirious state and realizing, oh wow, I'm in a hospital. I'm shackled to the bed. I can't feel my legs. And then ultimately pieces are coming back to me, remembering what I did. And yeah, I definitely have. I'm remorseful every day for what I did. And I truly hope that the people I hit could, honestly forgive me in their heart one day, if they haven't already, I got to actually see the person that I hit in my sentencing, and they give the person a chance to speak. And right when they did, the lady looked over towards me, and I was shackled at my waist like this, and my eyes were black, my lip was ripped open, stitches. But all I did was look over and, like, I mouthed, "I'm so sorry I hit you," like with tears in my eyes, because I felt horrible when I seen her come in the courtroom, and it was like I could put a face to what I'd done, because I hit a civilian driver, so I had no idea who was in the car.
Yeah. To me, that would have been the most transformative part of your story.
Right. And I just
knowing that you hurt an innocent person out there.
Yeah, and that's something I never wanted to do. I've never been about, that's one thing that actually, attracted me with the skinhead movement, is a lot of people think it's surrounded by hate. And it's really not. It's about, like, we're about raising your raising your kids, preserving the quality of your people, like a lot of good things that not surrounded by racism so much as people make it sound. It's just nowadays the hate just comes from so many people. when you're a different ethnicity, you're different. That's all. It's not, I don't hate you because you're different. I'm just interested in my European lineage, my Caucasian roots, you know what I mean? But having nothing to hate about another individual. And that's another thing. I educated myself in prison. On other people.
It's so close on this.
That's what I was saying. It's like the kid is really almost there, but.
And then he totally just says, I internalize it and make it about me and wanting to. What do you guys think of this? I think that the Soft White Underbelly, what they do here, it is extremely an important, an important show. Like it really is, because they're saying the things that without that filter, and they're saying the things that people should be having the conversations about and people should be hearing, but that doesn't mean what they're saying is right, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't mean they come with all the clarity that they should have. I don't know. That's really, it's so close. He's so close to it.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting anyway. I'm not really, I can't say I'm a fan of what the guy's doing, because it seems like he's trying to capture what's happening, but at the same time, he's objectifying these people. So I don't know how to feel about it exactly. I'm interested in all of these stories that he's presenting because they're fascinating to me. After having battled addiction my whole life, I think that's those are valid points, certainly, that the kid brought up and that the filmmaker brought up. And it's good that someone is engaging people on this stuff. But at the same time, it's like the kid has a look, and a thing that would that transfers to YouTube really, to the YouTubes really readily. And it seems like he could just easily be objectified in that way.
Is he objectifying them, guys?
I don't know.
What do you guys think
he's
of
benefiting from their stories? I don't know if that's benefiting them to come tell their stories. I'm sure he's paying them something, to share. So, I think it's good on a lot of levels, but I'm still a little wary because I don't really know enough about the filmmaker guy.
You don't know enough about the gentleman that does the actual filming, and is he objectifying them? I don't know. They do a lot of he has done some interviews though that are, they're really, really intense. That's a, that's definitely, it's a question to have. Let me see if there's anything. I guess he has a website, softwhiteunderbelly.com. I would like to, learn more about, what he does and how he does it. Either way, the conversations that he's sharing, you know what I mean? It's doing something that's amazing for, it's an amazing thing to get that insight, whether we agree or we don't agree, whether we're completely repulsed or not.
Can you pop that in the that link in the chat for?
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, duh. Because I just saw Oz said, could you post that link?
Oh, yeah. I was sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I was doing it when you guys were asking. I put his the website, the softwhiteunderbelly.com, and I also put in there the link to the video of his.
Kinky, I think that's a great idea. And after having gone to jail when I was young, I recommend everybody have to go to jail for a week.
I don't want to.
Every little smug little teenage son of a gun who ever gave you lip, all of them, put them all in jail for a week. But not like, you know what I mean? You know, it's jail, but it's not really jail. And they kind of know it's not really jail, but it's very much like jail, because
like scared straight.
Yes, that will spin your head around, man. I'm telling you, I know this to be true. It's a thing. It's an actual thing that can be effective in helping kids decide what's actually cool and what's not. You know, it's a good choice making building exercise. Did that make sense? I don't even know. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I mean,
but it's true, because I felt that way. I remember getting out of jail after like spending overnight in jail. Like the first time with the state troopers staying in the little lockup overnight because I was fucking wasted, being all mouthy and shit. And I deserved that fucking jail cell. And I'm like, wow, being in jail sucks. I don't want to do this again.
I don't think every kid needs to go to a jail cell. Skylar doesn't need to go to a jail cell.
No, but I think if it was a mandatory thing that everybody had to do, they had to go, like, just like you got to sign up for the draft. Well, you got to go into the private prison for a day.
Fuck mandates, Steve. Fuck your jail mandate. Fuck the mandate. Fuck you.
They called me out on the jail mandates. Damn it. Kinky, why did I listen to you? Damn it.
Fuck that.
Oh, shit.
I think we need to make better, we need to have intentional communities where, that's not the direction that people feel like, like we help people instead of just throwing them into a jail. Like, okay, I don't think NP needs to go and be treated the way that it's inhumane. That's literally like telling people to go in for torture for a week. Like, no. Like, I mean, maybe if something happens, I don't know, but I don't mandate. I'm not for mandating people to go to jail. Yeah. We have the largest prison population. I think it's more important that we would
talk a good game, but it was more a feeling of how you feel when you come out of there and you're like, oh.
So what you are trying to say maybe is that you want to install that same like uncomfortableness of you don't want to do this, don't do this.
If there's a way to instill that in children,
but
be very helpful.
Why don't we build a better environment, a better world for these children so they don't feel like they have to make choices that would end up with them in jail?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but because things are the way they are, I'm talking about reacting to that situation. I'm not saying, we have to do this because there aren't already, things to make people think that. I'm just saying, like, I felt when I got out of jail, like, wow, this could be a really fucking big time learning experience for kids my age, all my friends, all my peers that were little fucking peckerheads and, trying to be gangsters and shit. If all of those kids were exposed to that at a young enough age, or at least the threat of it, or so, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you get that feeling that I felt like, ooh, don't want to come back here. This is going to suck balls, and I don't know. It kept me out of jail. That's all I'm saying.
What if it doesn't have the desired effect? What if they find their family in jail instead of, what if they find that like, oh, because I know people that have been in jail and they've come out and they're like, well, at least I had that long of a trip out of jail before they had to go back in. I had that long of a, thing. Like it becomes the same thing where jail can become a tribal thing where people that's all they know. And that's what they seek.
That's
So I don't think that necessarily that's the answer.
No, it's really not. I want to be clear that I felt that way at one time when I was, 18 years old. I absolutely believe that it could be used as a tool. But knowing more now about, the school to prison fucking pipeline that's created in this country, it's already there. The threat of going to jail is now not a thing to be scared of. It's a rite of passage. That's just the thing that you do when you get to be, 15, you can go catch a bid, and I'll see you in 5 years, and now you're a fucking man when you get out of jail.
They call it college.
It's like it is, and you'll get a crazy fucked up education in there too. It's just.
And what kind of education are you going to get?
I just wanted to say that I don't think that that's really, in practical terms, a good idea. I just think that at one point I did feel like, oh man, that would be effective as fuck. But now it's like the rules have changed since like 1994, and everybody's, anybody of color's dad went to fucking jail. And you know what I mean? It's like the pipeline is wide open for every child to get in there if they want to. They only got to break a couple rules. Now they got the police at the school. The school has its own police. You know what I mean? It's like when I was in school, there was no fucking police there. There was a guy, there was like a truant officer person, but that he didn't go in the school and walk around and fucking terrorize people. He was like, he wasn't checking your fucking pass every time you came to the door. He wasn't using a metal detecting wand to see if you had fucking firearms on you. It wasn't like that. And I hope we can get back to a place where it's not like that again, because that's obviously the obvious thing. Militarizing the police, put them in school. We'll get them started early. And that's how they do it. That's how the system, for-profit jail works.
And it also works as like, so it's like, then they call it college. You know what I mean? Like I went there, I got my education. Yeah, you got your education in what though? You got your education in what? And what do the jails do? Right? Like I've not sorry, I'm sending something. Distracted by myself. Like what education are you learning when you go there? You're learning that people are divided by their race even more. So the people so not only are you go there as it's school to pipeline, racism is instilled in every aspect of jail. It's instilled. It's throughout. And that whole pack mentality and against each other and this and that. And you know what I mean? Like it just reinforces everything that we shouldn't be, that shouldn't be the case. And so by people following the culture of jail culture, you're literally, people are falling in line and continuing what the oppressors want us to do. I mean, what do you guys think of that? Yeah, I guess. Better than 2 years of college.
I don't know. You could go to jail for a couple of years and come out with a degree in con, and probably make way fucking more money, and not have any student loans to pay back. So I don't know. I'm not really condoning going to con college, but I'm just saying from a financial aspect, it does have its attractiveness on its face.
But they're also, I mean, like they are all about censorship in jail. Like they require you. Steve, stop. He does this thing where he's looking for something and he just like stands over me and lingers and looks.
Linger.
Steve, what are you looking for? Stop.
Guitar string.
No. Stop. That's not important. I'm in the middle of a show. Stop. No. He's lingering, you guys. The white container over there. Don't be a jerk.
Oh.
Kinky, I followed you back, by the way, on or I followed you on Twitter. You gave me your Twitter handle, so make sure you follow me back too.
Am I following Kinky? I don't know.
Everyone should follow each other, though. Kinky said, my relatives drop their jaw when I tell them how much I love jail. 10 days. I love those women. Love their stories. So good. Jail. Oh, my God.
I think that's how messages get mixed up, you know. That's how convolution occurs. Like, well, you know, it sucked because it was jail, but it was fucking awesome. I had a great time. Those people were beautiful.
So what was it really jail that you loved, or was it the fact that you bonded with these women and you heard their true authentic stories that bonded you? You know? So you can't have that. You don't have to be in a jail to have those conversations. Kinky, I feel like we should have some talk. We should have some conversations. We could have. Jail is where we send the projections. We don't bring the awareness. Scapegoating is an ancient practice.
Excuse me.
So very true.
Barbara Bartleson says, yay, Roar Meteors on tonight too. Hell yeah.
They are.
Some B&B on the side on a Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday?
Is it Wednesday?
I thought it was Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. B&B on the side on a Tuesday. No sane options for education for poor people besides the military or jail. Those in favor of either are just as institutionalized as those in either situation, in my opinion, with respect. Fully, Charlie Brown. Could not agree more.
Kinky said, I didn't have to go to jail. I could have been bailed out. But I thought, well, if I ever write a novel with jail, and it'll have personal knowledge of how it really is. And now I do. I want to read that book. Not because of the jail part, but because of your, you know, you purposely went into that situation and you still found the beauty in that situation. I actually just heard from a friend of mine who's in jail. Got the phone call, like, you know, to be added onto the list, and then, like, you know, he didn't call back after that. That was it. Like, right. Like, I will accept calls from you, yes. And then I was like, oh, all right, maybe he'll call me, like, you know. Nope. We'll see. And it was free. Oh my God. Yeah. Let's see what Charlie Brown's got saying over here. Trash is an interesting concept in itself, really. Where is this a way to which we cast things which we're done with? Hey, as case study QB calls me, LB. I like that. I like
LB and the QB.
LB and the QB.
I thought that was cool.
That was cute.
I like that guy a lot. You seem really, really genuine and you know, well spoken, and just articulated the ideas, even though our politics are, you know, probably vastly different. The stuff that he's doing is all positive, good stuff. And
well, we want the same good.
Yes,
in the end,
everybody.
We want the same good end result, where we want to have a positive life and, you know, a positive community and upbringing for, you know, next generations to come. So
I think ultimately that was his main point, was like, this is why I watch all these different sources to, you know, to put perspective on it. You know what I mean? To understand what it is that they're telling you and what is actually happening, you know. And generally his videos demonstrate this is the bullshit that they say, or these are the things that are happening. Like who else does that? Matt Orfala does that same thing. Like, Like, brought to you by Pfizer, brought to you by Pfizer, brought to you by Pfizer, tonight, brought to you by Pfizer, like fucking 8,000 times. Or the other one with McCain's daughter, my father, over and over. Oh my God. That shit had me rolling the first time I heard it. Incredible. My dad and my father, and my dad says, whoa. Can you imagine being John McCain's daughter? All right, I'm just going to breathe for a second. Let me get
Kinky said, I loved every second of my jail experience. Now, if you're a guy or trans, your story may be different, and I get that, but it's great for women. I'll take your word for it. I'll read your book. I'll have a conversation.
Hell yeah. Can I download that book on PDF? What's up? You should definitely do auditorium lectures advising children to go to school. Go to jail, I mean, not school. It sounds crazy, like crazy talk, you know? And I think that whole scared straight thing idea from the 70s was somebody who experienced it like I did and felt like, wow, all these fucking uppity, goddamn privileged white kids I grew up with have no idea about the world and the things that happen in jail or on the way to jail or any of these things that are, you know, could be good life experiences to convince you to behave a certain way and not just be a fucking asshole to your fellow man and expect that everything's going to be a-okay all the time. I don't know. There has to be repercussions for your bullshit.
All right, so Kinky's got a few things. You know, the fluorescent lights weren't great because they were on until 2 a.m. Breakfast between 4 and 5, and 1-inch mattress, no blankets, so pillows, and learned to say. And yes,
I don't know how they filmed the Green Mile because it looks so good, you know. The big dude and the mouse and the thing and the Tom Hanks and all the it shot really well for, like, I guess because it was from the 40s or whatever, or 50s. But you're right, the fluorescent lighting would not be conducive to quality video.
4 or 5 in the morning, that's usually when I'm going to bed. Oh my goodness. Yes, I was thinking about that, like little googly eyes on the mic covers. I made these myself. Yeah, like when we first started, I was like, I would be there. I'm like, you can hear like the mics were so sensitive that you can hear everything on the mic, but you want to be able to hear the voice. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that. So I made these mic covers.
She just likes fuzzy things next to her face. Have you seen my beard?
Not the same softness. The beard is not soft like that.
You harshing on my magnificent beard. God damn it. I'm going to tell Shadow Man. He's going to give you a bunch of shit about it. Cultural
Charlie Brown said, extracting something useful for personal growth from a shit situation is a reflection on the individual, not the situation. Jail is where society, critical thinking, and compassion goes to die. Yeah, that's basically what I said before I saw this comment was, I'm probably so far behind on you guys. I'm sorry. Like 10 minutes. But yeah, you know, anyone can make the best out of a awful, you know, situation.
You could have like a puppet show. Hi, I'm the orange guy. We're all Muppets here.
You got if you're gonna show them what the freaking showing them, it's the other mic. We had that one over here, but
anyway, that was the Pigs in Space portion of the Lucky Burrito Muppet Show. Fuzzy mic covers are a must. Thank you, Barbara.
So Snork said one of the problems.
Good night, Catalytic Centaur.
Okay, Steve.
Well, he's leaving, and I wanted to say
Bye, Catholic Center. I'm not trying to not say bye. I was just trying to read the comment. Like, all right. So Snork said, one of the problems that we face is high school and minority students are harassed by parents for not doing things to go to jail. This was not news that we expected to hear from youth counselors. Wow. Snork, you got to come back on the show and like melt our brains some, because Snork knows a lot of things, guys. Snorky is my brain.
Snorky Y2K is a dangerous man because he knows a lot of things about a lot of things.
Not dangerous in some kind of
weird
way.
His level of knowledge is dangerous.
Don't say it like that.
It's been labeled dangerous.
This doesn't sound right.
By the Steve Cutler danger survey that I just did. Danger, Will Robinson.
Oh my God, Kinky is like all about like, forget Disneyland, go to jail. All right, is that the name of your book? Or
it's like I tried to come on last time. Well, click that link, man.
Did
you send a link out? No.
Yeah, we have like
Lost in Space, Pigs in Space. Did you see the double entendre there?
And Charlie Brown said, no sane options for education for poor people besides the military or jail. Those in favor of either are just as institutionalized as those in either situation, in my opinion.
Kinky, I'm telling you, forget Disneyland. Jail.
I know, I put it up.
That's right. Scientists have the technology to disappear you. You're going to talk some smack about Snork, he could just make you vanish into just molecular.
Don't make false
dust.
Claims that Snork is going to make people
this is
vanish.
what I read. All right.
Someone's going to like vanish and then they're going to be like, oh,
who can I
Steve Cutler said it was Snork.
Someone told me this in a Discord chat. They may have been working for the Russians. I don't know. I don't even know why they took down the Spotify or the Discords today. Which reminds me, you guys should sign up for our Discord servers.
Yeah, the ones they're clearing out.
If they're still there, because we say stuff sometimes that we're not really, it's not favorable to the people who take down things. Like they took down the Convo and who else? Somebody else today.
Some other
Day?
No, there were some other people.
Yeah, a few people got their Discord servers yanked. Apparently, they thought the Jimmy Dore one was gone that Reef Breland does, and they apparently was still there. So that one's still good. But henceforth, I would like to blame any, improper scientific theories or statements. I'm going to say I got them all from Reef Breland. Okay, so just take it to the bank.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what that means, but
we got a knock.
Reef will understand.
We got a knock.
Well, let him in.
Who do you think's here?
Is it a Snork? Is it a Charlie Brown? Is it a Popeye? Is it a Barbara?
Popeye.
Yeah, I was reading something in the chat. I just got to tell this story that happened, and there's no way I could do it in chat because it's too long. Doing catering, all right, in San Francisco, and we're for all the I don't even, like the real big wigs, Willie Brown, Kamala, and all that shit, all them people. And
heavy hitters.
These two cooks were going at it, and this one guy kept, bugging the dude because the one guy is, is openly gay. He was like the supervisor of the kitchen crew, and I was cooking prime rib in a fucking speed rack with sterno. You just got to every 15 minutes.
Because Popeye's a chef.
Yeah.
Anyway,
anybody watching.
Anyway, the one guy we kept bugging him about being gay and stuff, and so finally the dude goes, "Oh, I wouldn't mind going to jail. All those guys and everything." And and then the other guy said something about another gay thing, and he goes. Man, well, why are you so interested in my orientation? And I turned around and I go, you guys have to go to orientation? Yeah, it was. After that, they requested me every gig. It was cool. I got to do some pretty cool gigs.
That's pretty dope.
That's awesome.
Not as dope as that tie dye you're wearing. Nice
Oh
t-shirt.
yeah, I got this at the Art in the Park that they have. We used to have until recently, but they had a yearly thing at a park every September. But
nice,
very nice.
Yeah, I thought the stream was over, so I looked at a couple of hockey highlights and stuff, and then
yeah, no.
Then I come back on and I said, "Fuck, it's still on."
It kind of meandered.
Talking about jail. It's like, oh god, I don't want to talk about jail.
No,
it's just I cut my hair today, man. See?
Oh yeah, look, he's all sharp.
No, well, see what I was gonna do.
He really got his hair cut because he was expecting to come on
this short on the back, and I forgot that I put the smaller one on, and I went to go because I always start at the front. I was like, oh shit, I had a big old thing. I said, well, I might as well do the whole thing. I was gonna try and do a fade, you know?
Right.
I don't cut my hair at all anymore. That's it.
I don't have any hair anymore. It's just
I got two things going down my back, you know, the back of the, like it kind of goes like that, you know.
Yeah, I got none. I got none there in the middle, like where you're rubbing there.
Yeah, my hair.
I got the what you call the friar tuck. I believe it's called the friar tuck.
Oh, friar tuck, yeah.
Very popular in the 16th century, you know.
Yeah,
and currently.
I got a whole bunch of records over there, man. I should pull some out and talk about whatever. But
yeah, dude, I'm gonna have you on. I want to have you on so when we do the talking about shit. About
well, that music that I sent you guys. I use that shit, man.
Oh yeah, no, I've already started.
A video just like the Marmot video. Use that thing I sent, that really weird one. That
yes,
the one that I wrote with a computer mouse.
Yes.
I was doing it while I was talking to my brother, and I used his footage from Japan. But the video that's on YouTube is like a quarter of the page because it was like I did it on like a 400 megahertz iMac, you know, with a whopping 10 gigabyte hard drive, man.
Old school. Old school.
No way. Are you kidding me? Alex Trainer came out with a video in the meantime of us
that mini golf thing
live.
Today? Right now?
33 minutes ago, Steve.
Is it a different one?
It's a new video, Steve.
All right.
It just came out 33 minutes ago.
Oh, maybe he fixed because I saw the mini golf thing or bowling thing, but it was like a iPhone video. Maybe he made it full screen or something. I don't know. I
think it's a different one.
That was fucking funny. Duck pen bowling.
This is
that's cool. I'd like to do that.
This one's a mall one.
Oh, another.
I thought it was always fun. We used to go to Castro Valley and go to the bowling. Then I'd take the kids and we'd put the bumpers up, and everybody just, you know.
We used to have a
I always
blast
wanted to go get drunk with my friends, but you know.
My mom used to go every Tuesday. That was bowling night. She would go out with the girls and go bowling in Cranston, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And play duck pin bowling. And then she went to this other place where it was Tuesday nights too. That it was either one or the other, and they would do candle pins or duck pins, and they were just like little pins. I always thought, wow, how do you bowl, Mom? Because I thought they used the big giant balls. I'm like, I can't see her.
They did
what's one of them down, but they're so small.
Oh, that comes from what is that they do in Ireland? The bowling, it's a street bowling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read about that. I've watched some videos of that. It's pretty cool.
I think that's where the
mile or whatever, and they just go all these different areas and they got it. That's pretty cool, man. Yeah, we got
like the lawn bowling thing that they do in Ireland and Scotland and where else do they do that? Like Italy as well, I believe, is really popular.
Yeah. Oh well, what's
curling
really popular here, Mark, in town is bocce ball. And we have this one. We have a bocce ball court, and there's like I think 15 courts. Wow. It's huge here, and I got the and one of my friends is the commissioner of the bocce federation here in town.
Dang!
They had a national championship one here 1 year.
Wow!
That's
serious fucking bocce ball. Holy shit!
They they got crushed. What is it? Crushed oyster shells, and they sprinkle on the corn, but then they couldn't get any more, so they got crushed walnut. So they're using that on the courts. They have a couple of courts that are like just for like the pros, to really, where they use for the championship. They have a whole season, and then they have like a playoffs. It's really cool. But I can only watch it for like about an hour. After that, I get bored and leave. All right, see you guys later.
Right.
But it's like, you got to love a sport called kiss balls,
Your name alone is worth the price of admission.
Yeah, man. It's like, shit. Man. No, it's really cool though. Everybody, they all get together and they drink. And so I don't drink, so I don't hang out with them. But, my friend has the guy who's the commissioner. He's got this big old basement, and he's got a whole bunch of guitars. Most of them are all Epiphones, but
oh wow,
he's got the Strat. He got a real Strat, a real good Strat, but then he's got a real Telecaster. But then the rest are like a bunch of different, like about 5 different Epiphones, and he's got an amplifier, and he's got this
wow,
drum set. So I gave him this hi hat because I had the really nice Sonar hi hat. It was I got the hardware. The hardware set was like $1,100, and it had the pedal and the hi hat, and they were like really heavy duty, and they looked real modernistic. But in the course of having like a bunch of drum corps kids staying at my house, and when they were going out partying, I guess one of them ripped off my bass drum pedal. So it was like, what's the use in having the hi hat pedal if it doesn't have a matching?
That's amazing. $1,100.
So I gave it to my. I gave the hi hat to my friend. So he's got this crappy Ludwig kit. I mean, it's not even like, it's like beginner kit, and he's got cheap cymbals, and then he's got this fucking beautiful hi-hat stand. It's like fucking $350. And this was like, God, I don't know, 2005 when I bought it. But
wow.
So I still got all those stands, and then I bought a bunch of stands that were like from the 70s.
Yes.
By Sonar. And I mean, they always had the best hardware. That was what turned me on about them. When I bought a kit in '79, and it was the '60s kit, and it was better than most of the shit that all the other companies had out.
Wow,
heavy duty. So
my old drummer, he bought a one of those. It was a Ludwig set that was clear, like all clear shells.
It was just like, yeah.
And then I remember you just said $1,100 just for hardware. I remember when the band as a band bought a drum set because we didn't have a drummer.
Yeah.
Like, well, we have drums, all we got to do is get a guy that can come and play it. So we bought a kit of drums, and it was like, I don't know, we were crying because it was like $1,200 for the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
We were like $1,100 for hardware.
But Sonar's made in Germany.
Yeah. No, it's quality, absolutely.
But
that's the thing. And this was just like a what the fuck is the DW? They were DWs.
Oh yeah, I mean, the DW makes really high quality shit, and everything. But they took over from Camco. They had those ugly round lugs, the round ones.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like Camco because of those lugs. And then Camcos and they took over their shell making process and everything. They took over all their hardware. But I mean, DW was originally they just made bass drum pedals. And they're fast as hell pedals, but I don't like them because the footboard's really thin. I always hated that. And I got let me see, I can take my pedal off. I got a really fucking nice one now.
Our old drummer that we played with a bunch of times, he had his own band, Mr. Pickle, Jim Walsh, and he worked for Nobles and Cooley.
Oh yeah,
right. And then the cool thing, this is a cool story. He was working for Nobles and Cooley, and he curated a kit for Billy Kreutzmann from the Dead and Mickey Hart from the Dead. So they both got these kits that they put together that he helped, assemble them or whatever. And they couldn't decide on the snare. So he had like 3 different snares that were all like just their nicest fucking ones. And he brought one to Billy. Billy kept it and brought one to Mickey. And then he had the third one, and he came home. He got invited out to New Year's to go to the shows. And so he got to watch them play their new drums and whatever. And he flew home the day early, and so he could play with us on the New Year's night, or I think it was New Year's night or Mardi Gras. It was one of those holidays ones. And he's like, he brings this kit. He's like, hey, check this out. And he flips over the snare, and it's signed by Mickey Hart, Billy Kreutzmann, Phil Lesh, Bob Weir, like all of them. Like, what the fuck, dude? That was amazing. He just like, and he had played that drum the night before at the show. So it was just like this like mojoed up fucking snare drum that our drummer David was like in heaven with. It's like,
man,
yeah.
they used to play these. They had these custom-made drum kits, both of them, and they had Sonor, like the really really beefy 7980 variety with the big beefy square lugs and the Brazilian rosewood finish.
Yeah.
But they had Rogers hardware, which Sonor hardware was great, but the stands to hold the toms, because they had these locks on them. So you could just set them up, they'd always be set up perfect every time.
Oh, wow.
But the Rogers Dynasonic stuff, that pedal, that's a Rogers pedal. And Rogers went out of business.
I know that name too from
Rogers just started making drums again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're making snares, and I think they're getting ready to start making drum sets. But Ludwig, man, Ludwig really went through some really bad period, man. They just, it's like they were the name, man. They were the drums we played. We played Ludwig drums, and then until 1985, and I guess they were on tour in Minneapolis or outside of Stillwater, and one of the equipment truck broke, so they had to take all the equipment and put it in the food wagon, and they left a pilot light, and one of the drums was leaning against and caught on fire, blew all the equipment, except the horn players just took their horns on the buses, and so then. They had to borrow drums from some stuff from like the Velvet Knights from Anaheim, and then the next day Ludwig delivered the new drums, and at the end of the year they gave him a $10,000 bill, and they're like, "Oh, fuck that!" So then they went to Yamaha the next year, and it's like they were cool drums, but like the I guess Yamaha didn't realize it, because when they're tightening their drums, man, these guys are cranking their drums, they got them really super tight, and they're like popping lugs off the drums because they
wow.
Yeah. So then I think some of the guys did was they would take the old Ludwig shells and sneak, they would sneak stuff on there and shit. But and then they went to Dynasty in 2000, and then in 2015 they developed these drums, their own drums, carbon fiber. Then they had them made in China in 2016, so they unveiled them in 2016, and then 2017 they unveiled the horns too, so they make all their own equipment as their brand.
Wow.
And this fucking pandemic ruined everything. Now they have to get their shit all distributed by they went back to Ludwig, believe it or not. They weren't going. They did a stint with Pearl, which were the best sounding drums. I never liked their hardware, but
Trixon, I never heard of that kid.
Those were made in Germany. Those were the shit. Trixon were really good drums.
Huh. Neat.
What I was going to say, the set that I had a 4-piece set that I bought that was like my original kit that I had when I when I worked I was a janitor at the laundry linen supply, and it was an old Sonor kit with the offset lugs, on the toms, because they were so shallow that the real pointed lugs, so they had to be offset, and it was in swirl gray, and I found one on eBay when I got money from my mom passing away, and then somehow I found another drum, but of the same type, but it was different color. It was red. So, but I had, so then I had a 5-piece kit, and then finally I moved to Pleasanton, and I ended up getting an accident, and I had that lawsuit, and I got a bunch of money again. So I asked my neighbor, "Hey, can you put I got some of it right here." Let's see if I can. Can you see the grain on that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I refinished one.
Pretty.
It's Bubinga. It's African rosewood. Yeah, so I refinished my whole kit, except for the snare drum, and that's about enough for like 2 snare drums. But I left the snare as it is, and after I had my stroke, my hands are fucked. I can't play drums. It hurt when I play.
We got a knock.
So I gave them to my son.
Nice,
Charlie
Brown. Oh wow!
Oh no way! Right on.
Pretty.
How y'all doing? What's up, Popeye? Good to see y'all.
Hey,
hello, Miss Lucky. Good to see you, sister.
It's good to see you. It's been a while.
And extra special guest.
I knew it. I knew he was gonna come.
If I ever did have a cat, I would call him a dick stander. Stand on your dick, man.
And the poop you found in your shoes would be justified, sir.
Paul Jeremiah came and hung out when I was in Chicago for a year and made my first bottleneck.
Oh my God, that cracked me up so bad.
Gave me a John the Conqueror root. I love Paul, but he was so straight. That's really cool. Paul Jeremiah came and played at our little my ex bass player's restaurant, the little band restaurant of the same name as the band, except for it was the Rain Desert and we're Desert Rain. So Paul Jeremiah, I can remember him being upstairs in the upstairs room where everybody went upstairs to burn and smoke lots of pot because it was Connecticut and it was still illegal. So we go upstairs and smoke pot, and I could see this guy that I don't recognize. I don't know who he is or anything, with a fedora, and all you can kind of see is he's like kind of turning away from the group of people, like he's getting more and more uncomfortable. Like I could see his body language, like he's gonna get up and leave any second. And sure enough, he's like, all right, you guys are beautiful, but I got to get out of here. Because it was just like, there was like 7 of us all walked in at the same time. And pretty much everybody in that 7 had a joint or a bowl or something, everybody was lighting up at the same time. And we like ran off Paul Jeremiah. So I felt like I had to say that to Kinky because that was fucking funny shit.
I have to show you guys the video that Steve made. I've been making him make videos.
Turn the chat back on. Yeah, they're talking about all kinds of stuff on here. Yeah, I get the wood at this place in Berkeley, and they have all kinds of. I was gonna get rosewood actually, but it was like twice as expensive. I thought, no, this is pretty damn good looking, and I got that. This is actually better looking in a way. But
I know somebody who has a cello made out of babinga.
Yeah.
It sounds so warm and just.
I think I got enough. I want to put on my guitar, man.
Yeah.
But I don't know if this is a cheap guitar, man. But this is the body design that I always like, man. I always love this.
Choosy does that stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah,
I think Choosy does it.
He is a luthier. He makes baritone guitars.
No, but what I want to do is I want to put how the fuck am I? How do I do it? Yeah. Whatever. Fucking. Oh, I can say everything's backwards. So what I want to do is put Bubinga on here, and then get because I'll have to get a binding.
Yeah.
But this isn't. What's cool about this guitar is the headstock. See that? That's fucking beautiful, man. That's why I bought it. And then when I got it, because I wanted a guitar with P90 pickups. And then when I got it, I was like, damn, this thing's really easy to play.
Here, show us the headstock again.
That's sweet.
Oh, I'll make it big. See?
Yeah, you make it big.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And all of them have the 3 dots. And I always get the little tiny little jazz picks. I like that. But this is our vintage jazz pick, like an unopened box, whatever. They're real expensive. They're supposed to be tortoiseshell, but it doesn't look very tortoiseshell to me. It's like orange.
Look, you can kind of see this, right?
Yeah.
I kept this from one of our black walnut trees that fell down out back. I was thinking this might make a nice flute.
Ooh.
That could be an alto didgeridoo.
Charlie's gonna send me some wood to carve.
I bet you they have like.
We're gonna go up against Charlie.
Well, you can come up here and harvest all you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Don't
threaten.
Don't worry about it. I will. I need to get some wood. We're getting towards that the warmer weather again. Finally. Oh, thankfully.
Yeah, I knew
What we call warmer, California calls a cold day.
Oh fuck, man.
That's
I can't take it, man. When it gets down to 60 degrees, I'm like, shit, man. Where's the hood for my jacket?
Dude, it's 55 in my house right now, so I haven't bothered to start a wood fire.
Yeah,
like fuck it.
it's probably
We got maybe a cord left. I want to make sure we have enough. So
Yeah, but it's always really windy right where I live because I live like about a quarter mile from the water, I think, maybe a half mile.
That's really cool. You met Paul Jeremiah in Cambridge, the Sword and the Stone. I've been there.
Okay, I want to show the video though, real quick. It's only like 40 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I remember this night. If it's what I think you're going to show.
What if you would have cleaned your home and straightened your fucking hair out that higher? That's all fucking cultural Marxist propaganda.
Yeah.
That's so goddamn
I don't want to
funny.
hear about your fucking culturally Marxist Mormon. Not again.
I got to re-iron.
You don't even know how to iron. If you knew how to iron, your hair wouldn't be that fucking curly. Now what if you would have cleaned your home and straightened your fucking hair out that higher? That's all fucking cultural Marxist propaganda. I'll show you the goddamn helicopters. It happened in the Soviet Union. It already happened. You don't understand it. Violence took over. Everyone lost their moral compass, and then there was Doncopters murdering people in the streets.
I still think it's good.
5 times it just never. It just stays funny.
We got to do more of those, man.
It's funny.
Oh my god.
And there's like
Use the music I got, and then layer some more of the crazy shit and throw in some of the Yoda stuff. And
Oh yeah.
there's so many possibilities for these little clips. I'm just starting to like get excited about doing it. And
We
figure
have
out
to
how
imagine what the sound of the Doncopter would sound like, and like use that as like the sound effect.
Yeah, I definitely should add
what
sound effects.
what I would want to do is do some voices, and say some funny shit, but get like a little handheld cassette player, and then put your thumb over the motor to slow it down. That's how we did. I sent you that thing 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Yes.
With this, and it kind of sounded like Zappa. That's how we did it. And we would, he would say, just say the fucking weirdest shit you could think of. And I would just, I came up with shit on. You heard it.
Hey, I want to show one more. And then
one more clip.
I left you an especially goofy comment on that video, by the way. I hope you see it.
Lucky Burrito Art and Music donated $1.99 saying you must wear that outfit when you come on my show. Oh, I guess their show.
Oh, well, you know what? Private message me, reach out to me. If you have my email, then we'll get that set up then. Okay? That's a promise. After all, because someday my birthday will be an international holiday. The 2 days before, it's sort of like the thing from The Godfather. Ask whatever favor you want, and I shall grant it. You know, like
That's it.
Why are you undressed under that
The
table?
face change.
Curtin said that to me on Rockfin. Hey, see these? It's called pants, shoes.
It would have been funny as all balls
Saying
if he was
I'm
only in
undressed.
boxer shorts today.
Do I look like I work for CNN?
Sounds like
The answer is no.
Pajama bottoms or something.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
I showed him all right.
We're gonna have to get Kit to stand in the studio and do the boxer thing just so I can edit it into the video. Like, hey,
No, man.
Peter, did you add any echo, or was that on there?
oh yeah, no, I was fully fucking with it, definitely.
Okay.
Kit's gonna be
Okay,
coming
worked very well.
on Thursday.
Yeah, lay up on the second half of that video, man. It's making
it's
it look
funny.
bad.
It's funny.
Uh,
Here we
Oh,
go.
dude.
You totally making Kit out to be the Joker here, too. By the way,
One other thing. I forgot. Thank you to Lucky Burrito. Thank you so much for reminding me. To the wonderful, incredible, outstanding, legendary, compassionate warrior,
Queen, Fiorella Isabel. We here at Hard Media wish you a very, very happy birthday. All the best to you, and keep on doing the phenomenal work at the Convo Couch and at the Mikasa Casa Network. It is quite clear that you, Fiorella, today is your birthday, and we wish you all the best. Hope you're enjoying time with your friends and family and all of your loved ones as well. So we here at Hardlands Media wish you a very, very happy birthday. And know this, the next time you're in, Chicago-style pizzas on the house for you. In fact, I wish we could deliver you Chicago-style pizza right now for your birthday.
Whoa. What'd she do to you?
We all know New York-style pizza sucks, right? It's a fact. It's a scientific fact.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Kit Cabello will be.
He'll be on the show on Thursday, so this should be funny. We might have to ask him to stand up so we can see what's.
Yeah, we'll get to the bottom of this for sure.
Yeah, that pizza commentary is fighting words, Tom.
Huh? Yeah, it is.
I know.
It's,
I
it's
know.
incendiary.
I have not had Chicago pizza, and I'm gonna tell him he's got to take me out for pizza when he meets me. And I'll be the judge of it. I'm really a New York fold-over pizza girl.
Did you ever hear that Jon Stewart pizza rant?
Yes.
It was like part of a whole series or so. But it's freaking. How the hell did he put it? It's like, I want to know when I get drunk and fall into my pizza that I'm not going to drown.
Exactly.
He's like, your pizza looks like an above-ground swimming pool for rats. He's like, when I look at your pizza, I don't know whether I should throw a coin in it and make a wish to eat it, or throw a coin in it and make a wish. And if I did make a wish, I'd wish for some real fucking pizza. Oh my God, that's the real pizza ever. Oh,
should we play that? Should we play it for Kit?
Maybe.
I do believe it was part of some ongoing goofy online thing between him and some Chicago folks or something.
That was like wicked Mel Blanc there, Popeye. You just like abity. That's more.
Well, we are running right into Roar Media is going to be coming on.
They're fixing a show.
Oh man.
So we're gonna wrap it up and bounce on over there. Y'all should come with us.
Yeah, go check that out.
All right, folks.
Hey, thank you for joining us, fellas. Really nice to see your faces again.
Thanks for having me on. Catch you guys over there.
Yes.
Absolutely. We'll see you over there on the chat side.
Peace out, Burrito Scouts. Much love, Sam.
Peace out, Burritonians. We love you.
Oh, I'm not with it right now. I got to do the thing. And I don't know. Don't we have an outro thing here?
There's definitely an outro.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This was so much fun. Thank you. Shout out to Case Study QB. Thank you for joining us.
The LB says
LB says QB.
Excellent. Really fun show, you guys. Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Popeye. Thanks to all of y'all.
We might be back on after, you never know.
Hydrofield cuts through my neighborhood. Somehow that always just made me feel good. And I can put a spare bulb in my hand, light up my yard. Late at night when the wires in the walls sing in tune with the din of the falls. I'm conducting it all while I sleep to light this whole town.